All right, you want to do the opening?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
That's going in. That's it.
I forgot what we were doing for a minute. I was like, how does that start?
Well, I found an opener.
All right, take 2, 3, whatever we're at here.
Whatever.
Click. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spook Retorts.
Ooh.
Spook, 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 spook.
That's the chant. Spook, 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 spook.
I'm so excited. This is like our fourth annual.
Oh, everybody, it's a lot of them.
So many years.
And you are?
I'm Danielle.
And I'm Sam.
This is a podcast where one of us explains a weird piece of media to the other who has no knowledge of it, except this time it's spooky.
That's me, Danielle. I'm like a brand new pair of jeans. You gotta like cut off all those little plastic tabby things that suck.
Yes.
That's it.
And then wash them and then put them on.
Wash them's optional, let's be honest.
Ew.
And putting them on is also optional.
You just buy the jeans, don't wear them.
Yeah, you just put them up on your wall. It's their art, right?
All right. We are actually doing something that Sam has some knowledge of.
We will find out.
We are back with our... What are we doing, Sam?
What? You asking me?
Francine Pascal, Sweet Valley High, Wolfman series? I don't know what the arc is
You're
called.
scaring me. This is going to be a lot of anxiety for this episode, Danielle.
I was just kidding. I wanted to include you in the process of our opening here.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for including me in the podcast I co-host.
Yes, anytime. Yes, it's a continuation. It's part 2 of Sweet Valley High's Werewolf trilogy saga.
The werewolf, the London werewolf adventure, as I've taken to call it.
Yes, Werewolves in London's. We're going to have Sam recap what happened in the first episode with the lovely twins, Elizabeth and Jessica Wakefield. Sam.
Okay. I'll tell you.
Best shot.
But I'm not going to remember which one is which, so we're just getting that out of the way right now.
That's part of the fun.
Okay. The twins, they got an internship at a London newspaper for reasons. I know one of them, Elizabeth, is like the nerdy one.
That's correct.
Yes! Took a guess.
Good job.
And so that makes sense that she would get a nerdy newspaper internship, but I don't know why Jessica's there. I guess she just wanted to tag along. I guess the twins are like...
I had questions in this second half of this. I was like, I still don't believe Jessica would have this internship.
Fair enough. Anyway, so they're living in like a hostel with a bunch of other kids, one of whom is a princess in disguise. We'll get to that.
Very relevant to the plot.
Nah, I don't think it's important. I think it's just a side quest.
The stuff that's not relevant to the main plot of this book series is amazing to me.
Is it the boy who she kissed in Paris?
Renee?
Yeah. He's not relevant.
Him?
Is he relevant? That's what I wanted to see.
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay, great. Perfect. Anyway, Jessica and Elizabeth are entering this newspaper, and they're put on the beat to follow Sergeant Bosco or Bogo or Bumpo. Bumpo. There it is.
So close.
I got there eventually.
It was pretty good.
Sergeant Bumpo, but they're like, we're too important to be following Sergeant Bumpo. We want to be on the murder beat because that's way more our style because we're so important. And I hate them.
That's how they talk.
Yeah, me too. Sorry, everyone. I'm sorry if that offends you. Anyway, so they like half-ass their Bumpo beat and go and like insert themselves into the story about a doctor had his throat ripped out.
Yes, correct.
And part of this is also like a mink coat goes missing, so they're interviewing a woman and her husband's involved in the murder case. But importantly, her son starts dating Jessica, and she's like, I'm going to hide from him the fact that I'm 16 and he's like 20-something.
He's 20, I learned in the second half of this book, and he's son of a lord. Let's just be clear. They're practically royalty.
Sure. Okay. Whatever. That's how I don't know anything about the English royalty, so I'll believe it. Anyway, so she's like, I don't care like anything about him. He's just, high status. That's good enough for me because I'm shallow. And
no, she loves him, Sam.
No, that's not true. Because she loved him. She wouldn't lie about her age and get him into trouble.
That is never resolved.
I bet not, because no consequences for the Wakefield twins. Justice for all the secondary characters.
I should read the book that comes after this, because I'm kind of curious if any of this plot matters.
I guarantee it does not. I mean, you can do it and just tell me, but I'm not going to...
They probably broke up by the next book or something.
I'm putting money on it. Anyway, not to be outdone, Elizabeth starts dating one of the newspaper people who's like...
Luke.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, my boyfriend would want me to cheat on him, and to try to rationalize it in her head, and she's terrible too. They're all awful.
It does not get better in the second half.
I'm sure. I do not like her. I don't like either of them, and I think Todd, deserves better. I remember his name because he's the only one I like in these books.
Poor Todd.
Right? Anyway, this is all just a lot of setup for the first book and a half, apparently, is all set up and no payoff. So they learn that, I think Jessica learns that one of their roommates is the missing Prince Diane, Dino? I don't know. Something.
What?
What's the princess's name?
Elizabeth learns
that
mistake. One of the dorm mates is Princess Eliana.
Okay, Eliana. I was so close with Dino. Sure.
So close.
Yeah, so close. Just if I changed every letter, it would be perfect. Maybe took away a few or added a few, I don't know. Anyway, Eliana is the princess who ran away to hide mere blocks from her palace to work in a soup kitchen and change her appearance very little. And there's like a massive bounty out of her information leading to her capture because apparently she is a fugitive or something. I don't know.
Yeah, £1 million.
Yeah, that's it. And Elizabeth is like, I'll date a lord, but I won't turn into a princess for £1 million. So I'm like, I don't know where her moral compass is.
See, because Elizabeth is not dating a lord. Jessica is, and Jessica does not know that it's Princess Eliana.
Wait, I thought Jessica was dating the newspaper guy, and Elizabeth was dating the son of the lord.
Elizabeth, the nerdy one, is dating Luke, the newspaper guy. Jessica, the bratty one. They're all bratty.
God, I got them backwards again. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Is dating a lord.
I got them switched. I got Jessica and Elizabeth switched in my head again. Sorry, they're basically
not hard. They're not hard, Sam.
They are hard. They're equally terrible people whom I hate, and I lump them together into one terrible person. I can't tell them apart because they're a bit. Again, maybe if I read the books, I would have a stronger sense of their character. But as it stands, I just see them as two terrible people who are virtually the same.
This is like Frank and Joe Hardy. You have the same issue with them.
And again, because I haven't read the books, I don't really get the nuances of their character. They're just two dumb kids who are like meatheads and solving crimes. The Hardy Boys.
See, one's really smart, and then one is the sporty guy.
That does not come through in the retelling. I'm sorry. I've lost that nuance. I'm sorry.
We're going to have to do another Hardy Boys book.
No, don't threaten me. Spare me. Anyway.
Maybe there's a werewolf one.
You did like a whole run of, this is like Danielle's werewolf year.
I do love a good werewolf story.
Werewolf. Sorry. Anyway, moving on. None of that matters because they all end up at a manor for Luke's father's hunting lodge, whatever. They go to his house and they all sleep over there for reasons. Yeah.
It's not Luke. It's Robert. Robert is the Lord. Luke is the guy who works for the newspaper.
Whatever. Robert, whatever. Yeah,
unrelated. Yeah. They're dating separate twins.
They're related in the sense that they're both dating the Wakefield twins, which is a mistake on their part.
Sure.
They're both the disposable boys du jour. Like Renee, the boy Elizabeth kissed in France and also cheated on Todd with. But that never comes up.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, they go to Robert's father's house and they have a little sleepover there. And in the night, Elizabeth is killed. Jessica's killed. supposedly.
Sure.
Yeah. But surprise, it's not really Jessica. It was the wife of the inspector who swapped beds with her for reasons that are unclear.
Joy. And it was because the full moon was going through the window, remember?
It was too bright for her to sleep.
They don't have curtains in this very expensive house.
Manor? Yeah, apparently they don't have curtains in England. It's not a thing.
Who knew? We're learning so much about the UK.
I know. These books are clearly documentaries. Rick Steves, the Wakefield twins in England.
I'd watch that.
I know you would. Anyway, the next morning, the police do a very mediocre job investigating. Apparently the twins go in and find a bunch of clues and we're on the case now.
Elizabeth does.
Yeah, you're I'm going to find me a werewolf because they both believe it's actually a werewolf. Luke does not believe it's a werewolf. Robert.
No, Luke.
Luke does believe it's...
Luke is the one that works at the newspaper whose mom was into werewolves. He's into werewolves. He thinks
he
there's
gave
a werewolf.
the werewolf talisman to Jessica.
And
no,
gave
Elizabeth.
a talisman to Elizabeth to protect her from the werewolves.
Right, okay, yes. Robert almost convinces Elizabeth or Jessica, I'll get it, that it's not a werewolf. And she's leaves it for half a second, thinks I found some green fuzz and fur and stuff.
That was Renee.
Who's Renee? Why is he relevant?
Is the French boy.
Why is he
Renee
back
talks
involved?
to her and is there is definitely not a werewolf. And Elizabeth is okay, I believe you. And then 5 seconds later, she's just kidding. Totally, there's a werewolf.
All right, I'm sorry. I thought Renee was completely superfluous to the story, so I just imagined it was someone else. I wrote him out of the story in my head.
Kind of is, but kind of not.
Okay.
He becomes more important as
Danielle,
we go
this
on.
summary is taking so long. You gotta let me end it,
please. It's not my fault that you don't understand who anybody is.
It's not my fault. They're all basically the same interchangeable characters.
I managed to keep them straight.
You got weird, freakish history with them. All right, point is, they're convinced it's werewolves. There have been sheep with their throats ripped out on the moors outside the manor house. It's it's all werewolves. And the police are
werewolves
it's not
all
a werewolf.
The way down.
Yeah, and the police are it's not a werewolf. And then there's some secret with Luke's mother, he's into werewolves, and some secret history there, and they're not sure. Maybe one of them is the werewolf. I don't know. And then I think we kind of
No.
One of them has history about isn't it Robert's father who's into the werewolf idea?
Yeah.
That's it. Okay.
That's how it ends. Do you remember how it ends?
Robert's father's it's a werewolf. We're going to go hunting it or something, right?
Okay, so it ends with Robert's father, Lord Pembroke.
That's the name. Pembroke.
And he's really upset about the death of Joy, the woman who was the fiancée to the police chief. And he's I know that this is a string of werewolf murders because I secretly super believe in werewolves. And that's how he's convinced the police chief to not tell anybody what's going on, is because he's the most knowledgeable person about werewolves ever, and he's doing his own investigation.
All right, so the police super corrupt. Great.
And he's afraid that if word got out, then all of the werewolf hunters would descend upon London to find them.
All the werewolf hunters that exist in the world. They're just roaming around.
That's where I stopped our story last time.
And it was equally as stupid then. Be if I make an announcement that it might be a werewolf, even if the police just say there's been a string of murders, be it's a werewolf. And the millions of werewolf hunters that exist and live in the modern world will come flooding to London, overwhelm our fragile resources.
Yes, except that what happens is, so he doesn't say it because he doesn't want all this to happen, and then he realizes that his son might be involved because he saw the cigarette case at the murder scene where the doctor and his best friend was murdered, and
wasn't there a piece of a sweater that belonged to him too?
It was
or something?
Threads of something, maybe a robe or something.
Yeah. Green? I remember the color green.
It was green threads, and they thought it was maybe the robe that Robert wears.
I feel like I'm a psychic doing a cold reading. I see a name. It's a J, or is it an E? Is it Jessica or Elizabeth? Are those people in your life? Maybe I see a fabric, a thread. Is it yellow, no green?
Yes, exactly all of that.
Perfect. Welcome to Sam's Psychic Corner, where I do my cold readings of Danielle.
Sam can't do cold readings of me because he's known me too long.
Well, it's definitely not a hot reading because I'm doing terrible at that.
And so it ends with him going, we don't want another scandal like the one that rocked us 20 years ago. What's the scandal? We don't know. That's where we ended, Sam.
Okay. Well, I got most of the big point. I got the important parts, which was I hate the Wakefield twins.
You got the plot. You just don't understand any of the characters.
I understand I hate them, and that's all I need. Is that not enough?
All right, picking back up midway through the second book of this 3-book arc.
Oh boy.
So back at the newspaper, Jessica, quote unquote, you may remember that Elizabeth is pretending to be Jessica for a hot minute here because she wants to interview Lord Pembroke.
No, I've never done that at all. But
okay,
thank you for reminding me.
Elizabeth is doing that.
Cool.
So she
Classic
contacts Lord Pembroke.
She
said she wants to follow up regarding the Mink story, and he thinks it's all charming because she's dating his son, and he totally supports Jessica. He hates Elizabeth because she's too nosy, but he loves Jessica.
Whoa. This dude is somehow more terrible than the twins. Like, if you hated them both, I understand. But you're like, I like this one because she's dating my son. This one, she has an intellect and curiosity. I can't have a woman with intellect and curiosity near me. Women should be docile and just date my son. Terrible man.
Let's pretend that's what's happening. So he invites her over to the house, to the manor, as long as she doesn't bring her nosy sister with her. He doesn't strictly say that, but that is exactly what's insinuated in the story.
Is there anyone, I think I asked this question last time too, but is there anyone we like in these books? Okay, thank you. I mean, Todd's not in this book, so we can't count him.
I don't know. The side characters seem lovely.
I mean, Renee seems fine, I guess.
I like the princess. She seems great.
Working in a soup kitchen, doing a very bad job of hiding her identity. Love it.
She's worse. Everything gets worse in the second half.
Oh, no.
All right. Anyway, so like I said, Lord Pembroke totally into Jessica, convinced that she's somehow like changed his son in the 3 seconds they've been dating. Well, he's very into her.
Okay, great.
It's weird.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's the right phrasing, and I don't like it.
They're trying to make it paternal, but I'm not 100% buying it. He's like, she's changed my son. He's such a better person.
He's not, and she's not.
And he tells her to remember that Robert loves her very much, after they're, 3 days together. And to remember that no matter what happens, which Elizabeth is like, okay.
If he attacks you as a werewolf, remember, he's doing it out of love.
100% that.
That sounds like the worst advice for like a person in an abusive relationship.
So she heads to their manor, but to her surprise, once she arrives, there's an ambulance and police officers on the scene.
Robert's dead.
No. She meets Pembroke and asks him what's happened, but he's just like, keep this to yourself, don't mention anything to the newspaper or anybody else. And then he leaves to go help with all the festivities.
Is this really a book about how the rich and powerful cover up crimes to suit their own whims?
A little bit.
Okay, cool. Very relevant.
So she heads out to the scene herself, trying to figure out what happened. And to her horror, she sees them coming out of the house, out of the manor, with a stretcher. And on is the body of the cook that she talked to previously. Remember the one who saw somebody coming out of the room?
No, but I'll believe you.
Okay, she talked to one of the staff when she was there at the manor, and post-murder on this person, this cook was like, oh yeah, I saw somebody, but I don't know who it was. But she didn't believe that they didn't know who it was.
Sure, okay.
Yeah, so she sees them.
Covered up loose ends, got it.
Yeah, so she sees them on the stretcher with their neck ripped open. And this poor girl really needs some therapy. She's seen so many murdered people just in one couple of weeks here.
I don't know. I mean, she needed therapy decades ago, and she's only 16, which tells you a lot. But I feel like at this point, she's already so inured to death or the pain and suffering of others that she's basically no longer human.
Possibly.
Yeah. I think that's the way
we can get into the discussion after all this story is over. You'll have more thoughts.
Uh-oh.
Now, cut to Princess Eliana, where she's working in the soup kitchen with David. She's Lena, you may remember, or possibly Lina, but I think it's Lena. And he tells her it's been super to hang out with her all day, because that's totally how kids talked in the 90s.
Oh, it's been super to hang out with you all day. It's been real swell, mister. At the sock hopple, we have even more fun.
I mean, I wasn't in Britain in the 90s. Maybe they did say that.
Yeah. I'm sure if you go to 90s London, they're going to talk like they're 1950s white America.
So she lets slip to David while they're chatting that she was at the opening of the soup kitchen. And then he's like, what are you talking about? And then she's like,
ribbon, I'm the princess.
I am not a princess. Definitely was not here. Just heard somebody talking about it. Ignore me. And
she's bad at this.
Every single time you see a scene with Eliana, she's like completely slipping up. It's very
blowing
funny.
Her cover. This is worse than the princess switch in the ability to cover up that you've princess swapped.
Yes, it is.
I'm just putting it out there. I don't know what.
So they basically have like a compliment off, like, no, you're the best. No, you're the best.
I hate it.
And they talk about how wonderful they are, and then they go off to do tourist things. Elizabeth, back at the manor.
Why are they going to do touristing if they both live in London?
Oh, so she's pretending she's from Liverpool, and he's from Liverpool. I think it was Liverpool. And they both are. He keeps trying to bring it up, like, don't you remember that place, and she's like, my mom wouldn't let me. I was very sheltered. I never went anywhere ever. Like,
she's so bad at this. You never tell people where you're from until you hear where they're from first, so you can be from somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Liverpool, because she was using, like, an accent from there. Like, she was trying to do the whole Liverpudlian.
There we go. I feel like I want to say Lilliputian, but that's Gulliver's Travels.
It's a whole other thing.
Yep.
All right, so they're playing tourists. They're off on a date. Elizabeth, back at the manor, she's obsessing over Pembroke telling her to love Robert no matter what. I'm wondering if the father knows more about his son's nocturnal activities than previously thought.
That can be taken off context.
And now she's Nancy Drewing it around the house and the crime scene. She starts with Robert's bedroom. Luckily, as she walks into the closet, she immediately sees his murder bathrobe. And there's a small tear in the shoulder that clearly caught on Jessica's bedroom door the night of Joy's murder, leaving those threads behind Danielle, that she found.
Can you define murder bathrobe? Because that's not a term I think is very common.
It was the bathrobe that Robert wore to commit murder. Okay.
Just making sure. I didn't know, like, should we all have a murder bathrobe in our closet just in case?
Yes, but then you should also get rid of it afterwards and not just literally just have it hanging up in a prime spot in your closet. Like, hey, this was the one I wore for murder.
Danielle, if you're going to have a murder bathrobe, you're going to show it off.
Just nice that it was sitting right there just as soon as she walks in.
You're not going to throw away a perfectly good murder bathrobe just because you murdered somebody in it. That's the whole point.
Then what are you going to murder people in?
Exactly, Danielle. You're just creating more waste, and I'm about upcycling.
So she holds the threads up that she took. She's got them in a bag in her pocket or something, and she holds them up to the murder bathrobe, and she is like, yes, perfect match. With no testing or microscope whatsoever. Yeah, just like,
her go-go gadget microscope eyes can determine that's a perfect match.
This whole second half, I love this book. It's so good.
I'm glad you're having fun, Danielle.
The last book was my favorite of the three. So she steals the robe, contaminating the evidence, throwing it into her bag.
Why are the twins so convinced they're better than the police? Although, to be fair, the police are clearly on the take, so they're not to be trusted.
Yeah, they didn't find the little threads. They didn't find the murder bathrobe. Or the fur that was in the door.
To take us back to my favorite scene from my period, this is basically the neutering of the Shrike to make Rawl look good, is the neutering of the police, so the Wakefield twins have an excuse to actually do something.
Yeah, they're exceptionally bad.
Great.
So she's like I said, she takes the bathrobe, sticks it in her bag, and then she
washes it first to make sure she gets nice and clean.
And then she hears footsteps outside of the bedroom, so she runs out into the hallway instead of staying in the room. Where I'm sure the maid was not going. Like, the maid is probably not going into Robert's bedroom. Like, what are the chances of that? You could have just, like, hung out in the closet.
Or get under the bed or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. She tries to convince the maid that she's just lost in the big house, and she asks where the library is, and she's directed that direction.
I was just raiding Robert's underwear drawer.
So she wanders around the library. She's looking at all the great books that are in there. But then she remembers, oh yeah, I'm here for clues. I'm not here to read. But then she promptly,
When you say great books, do you mean physically or like in terms of literary value?
Literary value. But there are also a lot of books in this library. It's very Beauty and the Beast.
Ooh, okay. Well, maybe I'm starting to like Robert myself.
But so she promptly forgets that she's there for clues, though, when she spies a old copy of The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which she was reading back at the school and hadn't finished. And so she goes to grab it. She's like, oh, I'll read it tonight when I go to bed. And to her surprise, as she pulls the book from the shelf, she hears a click and notices a leather-covered panel in the wall springing open. It's a secret door!
Okay. I'm so mad. First off, why make a very popular and well-regarded book like The Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde your secret book that you're like, no one's going to touch this book. It's only extremely famous and popular.
I don't know, Sam. I would also use a book that nobody's ever going to look at.
Like, like animal droppings and how to identify them. Something like that. Picture book or whatever. Setting that aside, how come their security is somehow worse than the security for the librarians?
I don't know.
That's awful. And also, nobody has those unless they're like building them to be like a movie. Like oh, this is my fun playhouse with my secret door. Like, no one who really wants to hide anything would do the book trick.
Well, they did. So.
No. And she just happens like, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, it's my time to read that this month. Oh, we'll open the secret door.
Yes.
There
are a lot of coincidences in this section of the book. I love it.
The twins are too incompetent to succeed by merits. They must succeed by force of plot.
Oh my gosh. There's something that happens later that I was dying over. Look at there.
Nailed it.
That was so stupid. I was like, you are not stupid enough to think this right now. But no, they were.
Oh, boy.
All right. Back at the newspaper, Luke is editing Jessica's latest Sergeant Bumpo article.
Yeah, Bumpo!
She's very mad that he dare have any opinions about her writing, which being the top-notch 16-year-old literary genius that I'm sure she is.
Is Elizabeth the good twin or just the other evil twin?
This is Jessica. Jessica, who may not even, should not even probably even be on the internship for the newspaper.
I'm sorry. Jessica, the one who's not even on the school newspaper back in Sweet Valley, I'm guessing.
I don't know the answer to that.
Is like, how dare this professional editor have comments on my perfectly crafted Sergeant Bumpo piece? It's a masterpiece. Pulitzer winning.
I am super confused as to the age of Luke. We're going to get into some more of this as we go along because, numbers do not make sense in this story.
Well, they're good at writing, not
works,
math.
Quote unquote, at the newspaper, and he's apparently editing this article, but I don't think he's that much older than her.
Elizabeth?
Yeah, he's dating Elizabeth, and I think he's still a teenager himself.
Wow. Either way, everyone can receive constructive criticism. No. Back off.
And I feel like the criticism he's giving her in the book is completely valid, because she basically wrote, she's writing the crime beat, and she's saying this happened. She's specifically saying the person's guilty of this.
No, you can't do that.
You can't write. He's like, no, you can't say that. And she's like, but he admitted to it in I'm like, he's like, yeah, but you can't say that. Not
until he's convicted in the court can you say someone's guilty. This is basic stuff.
Yeah, I know. And there's lines like, Jessica knows she's not the greatest writer, but it was still humiliating. How did she get this internship? Why? Elizabeth, sure. Why also, is she here?
How is getting feedback professionally humiliating? Wow, these women are not going to do well in any workplace.
Wild, man.
Maybe this whole series is just a prank to make you think these people are good, but they're really just these are all the worst people in the world.
It's quite possible. So they wrap up that. Luke asks her about how her relationship's going with Robert, remarking on how close they've gotten so quickly. And he admits that he doesn't
they have.
He admits he doesn't love their family, but he's, happy for her or whatever. And she notices while they're talking that he's messing with a keychain. And she's like, oh, isn't that the same, anti-werewolf charm that you gave to Liz? And she's like, do you really believe in that werewolf stuff? And he tells her that he studied them for a long time and thinks to his mom's interests. And he reached the conclusion that they really do exist. He then recites his werewolf poem to her that he's written.
Danielle, if you have any love for me as a friend, you will read this poem.
Sure. So it
says...
Through darkened wood he runs alone, white teeth gleam like sharpened bone, wolf's bane plume is softly kissed, by moonlight drifting through the mist, by day he wishes no one ill, at night he hungers for the kill.
Well, he's no Percy Shelley, but...
He's working on it.
Maybe you should read some more Edgar Allan Poe or whatever, get some pointers. Those rhymes, man, those rhymes. They're good rhymes, but boy, are they a little on the nose.
Right.
Love it. Thank you so much for reading that, Danielle. Made
You're
my day.
Welcome. I put it down just for you. I knew you'd want to hear it.
Yeah, you're a good friend.
Jessica is like, oh, that is really spooky. You shouldn't, try and scare me. And then she announces very loudly that she's glad she's dating a normal guy and not this, weirdo.
Okay. I imagine he reads her this poem in all serious. He's like, this is my heart I'm pouring out into this poem about werewolves. She's like, oh, that's so spooky. You shouldn't read that to me. She's making fun of him. Oh, no, you really scared me there. I'm glad dating a normal guy, not a dork who writes poetry.
No, it's all very serious because she gets shivers and she's like, oh no.
I know it's serious, but I just can't imagine anyone reacting to that poem going, I'm so scared he wrote a poem that has the word about werewolves loving wolfsbane or something. I forgot already.
Maybe he read it very dramatically and it was atmospheric. Maybe you had to have been there.
Did he turn up the light to put a flash underneath his chin and go ooh, werewolf poem?
Anyway.
Then flick the light switch on and off. Come on, it's great.
We're back with Liz, Sam. We're going back.
Has Liz heard the poetry yet? Is that end that relationship or what?
I don't remember if he's quoted any of his poems to her.
Oh, poor guy.
Probably not, because he does want to stay dating her.
I'm glad these people aren't real, because I feel very bad about how we're making fun of him.
So Liz goes into the secret room where animal skins and heads adorn the walls. Any guesses to what the animal skins and heads are, Sam?
Wolves.
100% wolves.
Yeah!
Every book and item in this room is werewolf themed, and she realizes Pembroke is, quote, some kind of werewolf lunatic.
Oh, you think?
Excuse me, quote, some kind of werewolf fanatic.
Why not use the word lunatic? It's right there! Werewolf lunatic is the best pun! Come on!
Sorry, it's not that smart.
I'm so mad. Yours was better, Danielle.
Thanks. But also, just FYI, Luke's obsession with werewolves and Pembroke's obsession with werewolves are different because Luke wouldn't have a secret room.
Yeah, he just has poetry about werewolves he writes.
Totally
I
fine.
guarantee Luke, if he was born a little later, this book, he'd be a furry or something.
Probably. If he was rich, he'd have a secret room, Sam.
Yeah, a secret room with his fursona in there. And good for him, living his best life.
So she starts checking out all the items in the room, picking up the books, looking over stuff, and she finds a book called Discourses on Lycanthropy. And she's leafing through it, and she notices there's an inscription at the front of the book that says, to Robert, with all my love, Annabelle. And it's dated 20 years prior.
Annabelle, like the doll.
Yes, but this was before the doll.
Okay, great.
She wonders who Annabelle is, as Robert was 20, so that's when we find out how Robert's exact age, I guess. Pembroke and Lady Pembroke probably would have been married by then, so she wonders if it was a tragic love affair, and that was part of the scandal she'd heard about from Eliana from 20 years ago. And she wonders if Annabelle is somehow the key to the mystery. And in real life, I feel like this would just be an inscription from Pembroke's loving sister or something. It would not be the key to anything. Why would you ever think this is the key to anything?
I mean, not to brag, but I have books with inscriptions in them from people who gave them to me for birthdays or graduations or things. So, that's a normal thing to have.
Are they the key to a werewolf mystery? Because who cares otherwise?
I mean, that's sort of my point, but honestly, they might be, Danielle. We'll have to go through them and find out.
Yeah, so back in the dorms, the group is deciding what to do for the night because, as one of the group so delightfully states, quote, we must determine what we are going to do tonight. I'm as bored as a kangaroo in a body cast.
What? Are any of them Australian?
No.
Okay,
I don't think
right.
so.
That was me grasping at straws, Danielle.
I might be wrong. Maybe that one is. Was there one from Australia? Great question. Don't know.
Okay.
It probably is. She probably was Australian, and that's why they said it. Because that's the only reason they'd put a kangaroo in there.
But also, why is a kangaroo in a body cast any more bored than anyone else in a body cast?
Because kangaroos like to move, Sam. Obviously.
Oh yeah, they like to move more than anything else in the world.
Yes.
I like to move too, Danielle. If I was in a body cast, I'd be bored.
You would be. You'd be a terrible body cast patient.
Fuck you. Thanks, Danielle.
You just move a lot.
I guess I'm a kangaroo then.
You're not good at slothing.
You have no idea how hard I can sloth.
No, I believe you can sloth. I don't think you'd be good at it for long periods of time.
It's fair. That's actually fair. Yeah. I'm good at slothing in bursts. I'm a burst author.
So, of course, during this conversation, Eliana seems to have some intimate knowledge of London nightlife, which seems confusing both to the characters, as she isn't from there, and to the readers, as we were led to believe she was basically a shut-in thanks to her parents. So I don't know why she would know anything about London nightlife.
Eliana, what are you doing? Girl, I want to help you live your soup kitchen dreams, but you can't keep, blowing your spot up like that.
Yeah, she's quite terrible at it, actually. So they finally agree to go on out to this club, and Eliana suddenly bows out. She's like, nope, super tired, gotta go, and it's very confusing.
Let me tell you about this super cool place I love. Oh, wait, I'm not going to go with you. You are so bad at this.
No, she's trying to, talk them out of all these places, and that's where this knowledge base seems to come into play. And then they decide...
Oh, that place is terrible, I've heard of it. Oh, that place is terrible, I've heard of it.
Or it's closed on Tuesdays, or whatever. She's very, knowledgeable about stuff.
I have all the schedules for every nightclub in the city memorized.
She does seem to.
Crazy.
To all these clubs she never goes to because, again, supposedly she's a shut-in, and that was the whole reason she ran away, is because her family would not let her go do things.
This book doesn't make any sense, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Good. That's the premise of our show.
Back at the manor, Liz barely makes it out of the secret room in time when someone comes in to dust the library. I guess she's on the maid schedule or something, even though I would imagine the staff has to know she's in the library. So somebody just directed her to it.
Either the maid is following her, or she's just looked at the maid schedule I'm going to go to wherever the maid's going, but 5 minutes ahead of her.
I just have to assume the maid's maybe just following her around to make sure she doesn't get into things.
Too late.
Liz reflects on her circumstantial evidence and wonders how Pembroke's obsession with werewolves ties in. Had he known the entire time that his son was a werewolf? Was his study of lycanthropy an effort to understand more about his son's condition?
So she's all in on the Robert is a werewolf idea.
100% in.
What?
You will shortly see how many people are in on this theory.
Look, I'm all for Robert being a serial killer and ripping throats. Throat ripper. Call him, Robert the Ripper. That's a thing in England. They get lots of those. But I would not go so far as say, that just means he's a werewolf. That is a step too far for me and my brain. But I'm not one of the Wakefield twins.
Yeah, nope, he's a werewolf, Sam. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, sure, werewolf. I found a robe, and his father's crazily obsessed with werewolves. That means his son's a werewolf.
Yes, 100%. So she decides that, that he's studying it because his son's condition can't possibly be it, because the day of the book was around Robert's birth year. And I guess we're discrediting that Robert was born lycanthropic, if that's a word, or was Annabelle's son and, ate her as he came out of the womb. I don't know.
Whoa. She thinks that Annabelle was killed by Robert?
No, I'm just saying she doesn't even consider that as a possibility that he was born lycanthropic. Maybe he was born a werewolf. That could be a thing. But no, she's timeline's all wrong.
I'm sorry, I'm so confused. What's the timeline? What is he trying to figure out? When he was turned into a werewolf somehow by something?
No, this is part of the problem of this book. So.
Okay. All right. Lay it for me I'm a moron about werewolves, because I am.
So Pembroke's obsession with werewolves, he's got one.
Oh, so she's saying he's been obsessed with werewolves too long, longer than his son has been a werewolf?
Yes, so the book inscription that she found was 20 years ago. That was about when Robert was born, so it can't possibly be that he's studying lycanthropy because his son is a werewolf. It must be something else, even though, how do we know he wasn't born a werewolf? For all we know, Robert was born furry or ate Annabelle on the womb on the way out. We don't know. Maybe Annabelle's his mom. We literally no idea what's going on here, but she's nope, I guess that's not it.
Okay. So she thinks Robert's a werewolf, but the timeline doesn't line up, so he's not a werewolf?
The timeline doesn't line up for Pembroke having an interest in lycanthropy. She can't figure out why he cares about lycanthropy. He thought it was related to the son, but then she's considering that lycanthropy is a completely made up thing.
Yes,
she's assuming that he got bit at some point in his life and became a werewolf, but for all she knows, he was born a werewolf. If he was born a werewolf, then the timeline makes sense, doesn't it?
Let me talk to Jessica for a moment here. Jessica. Bubble.
Elizabeth.
Whatever. I'll get it one day.
No, you won't. We did this with the other series, too. You could not keep them straight in the last one.
Okay, again, it's because, A, I get them apart, and B, I don't care to. Elizabeth, bubble up. Maybe Robert is obsessed with werewolves No, maybe
Pembroke.
Pembroke, there you go. Pembroke is obsessed with...
Technically, he's Robert, too, but I'm just trying
Robert
to keep him
Sr.
straight.
Maybe Bobby Sr. here is obsessed with werewolves because he's just a crazy man obsessed with werewolves, and it has nothing to do with Robert being a throat ripper, and it's just
Another
a
option.
happy coincidence. It seems way more likely that they're unrelated things.
Or the dad is obsessed with werewolves, the son was raised in the same thing, and then now is a murderer that's ripping out because he's like grown up with werewolves his whole life.
Yes, I was about to say, maybe he was like corrupted by his father's obsession.
Nope, none of that comes to her mind yet.
Because she is not a good investigator. This is why
she's 16, man.
Yes. Again, I'm not saying she should be a master detective. I am saying her self-confidence is way above where it should be for her abilities to investigate.
Yeah. So, anyway, she's thinking about all this. She is now convinced for absolutely no reason whatsoever that Annabelle is important to the story.
She's
plot,
not.
I guess.
I mean, she is, but she shouldn't be.
So she searches through Pembroke's stuff for proof of Annabelle, starting with his address book. Remember those?
No.
They were great. Little books
Were they?
he wrote people's addresses
Yeah,
in.
I still have one somewhere in the drawer, I'm sure.
I had one that was pink. It was called The Little Pink Book or something, and I had everybody's address and emails and stuff in there. Good times. Then she moves on to a yearbook she finds from Oxford. This is irrelevant. She has no luck in there. And before she can sneak back to the secret room, she hears Pembroke's voice, and he is followed by Andrew Thatcher, the police chief.
Andrew Thatcher, Dragon Hatcher.
Yes. Whole other plotline. Werewolf Thatcher.
Werewolf Hatcher. Danielle, you solved it. Robert wasn't born. He was hatched. That makes the timeline work.
And Andrew is his dad.
What? No, he's just the hatcher.
Plot twist.
He's the one who like you give birth.
Incubates. He sits on the eggs.
Yes. He like helps them get hatched because
that's how come they're friends.
Yeah, because Pembroke is too busy. Like it's like having a wet nurse. You know, like I'm not going to have the rich person take care of the boring job of sitting on the egg.
Got it.
Yes.
All right.
Man,
anyway.
that's a better book.
There are nannies involved in this book. We'll get there.
Uh-oh.
The door is slightly open, and Liz worries they will notice it. Like the door is slightly open to the room.
You mean the door isn't a door? It's a jar?
Yes. But also she's like in the library and they don't see her, and I maybe should have reread the whole passage again because I could not for the life of me figure out where she was in this library that they didn't see her while they were talking in the library. I don't know if I missed it, if the author didn't put it in there. It was very confusing to me.
Danielle, I admire your commitment to not figuring that out. It's really great.
I almost went back and I was like, no, I don't care.
You love it. Admire that. Respect it.
Yeah. In my headcanon, she's just like standing in the shadows in the corner or something. I
like that she's just like standing there in the middle, like, if I don't move, they can't see me. They're like T-Rexes.
She's like got a book in front of her. She's like, I am one with the books.
And then it's like, I also like to think that either that or like they see her, they're just like, don't care. Like, no, that's a weird statue.
That's how I felt. I was like, what is happening in this scene? So my whole time she was just kind of standing there.
I like that so much better than you figuring out what actually happened. That's so much better. I'm glad you did that. Thank you, Danielle.
You're welcome. She searches through Pembroke's stuff for proof of Annabelle, starting... Oh, I already said that. Thatcher says to Pembroke, the murder the previous day was the last straw. He can't hold off on both keeping it out of the newspapers or from his police staff any longer.
You should be investigating murders. That's what you do. You're terrible.
Well, they had agreed that due to Pembroke's expertise that he'd carry out his own investigations, but he can't risk any more lives. And he thinks Pembroke knows more than he's letting on.
Question.
What? Expertise. Werewolves? Does the police chief think it's a werewolf too, Sam?
That's what I was going to say. That my question was, does Andrew Thatcher, Werewolf Hatcher, think it's a werewolf?
It seems to imply at this point that that's what's happening. Again,
all my notes... The police chief is like, there's a werewolf attacking my citizens, and instead of doing anything about that in a professional capacity, he's like, I'm going to keep that all secret, let them continue to be attacked without warning, while I let my werewolf-obsessed friend do something about it for me.
Yes.
Incompetence at the highest level.
I think this is an important point to note, is that I had not read the end of this book, so I had no idea what was going on at this point, so all my notes reflect that.
Okay, so, oof. the end of this book better, like, turn it around for me on these characters, or I'm going to have so many questions about how people this stupid could rise to such prominence. I mean, I have a question about that. That's very obvious. Yeah, okay. Never mind. As I was saying it, I realized it was a dumb thing to say.
At least they don't believe in werewolves.
Okay.
Probably.
You know, my mistake. I'd prefer that, in fact, actually, at this point. If that was all they believed, that'd be great. I retract the statement.
Thatcher says that the murder the previous day was the last straw.
Sure.
And he insists that he hands over any
How many
evidence.
murders does it take for the police to care?
4, apparently. And Thatcher insists he hand over any evidence or ideas he has. And Pembroke balks, of course, telling him that the evidence is misleading and points to an innocent man.
And then Elizabeth jumps in and is like, hi, I'm here. Just want to let you know I found your secret passage. Maybe there's something in there.
She's still just standing there pretending to be a book.
I like to imagine just like this chimes in.
And Thatcher is like, that's what the police are for. You know, we have to try and figure out if it validates an arrest, and we have to be bloody sure of the evidence before we can accuse a man of being a werewolf. So yes, he does think that werewolves are involved.
No, what? No! He's like, men's lives have been ruined with the accusation of being a werewolf. In this day and age, the accusation of a werewolf will dog a man, get it, for his whole life.
I feel like, you know how we discussed previously that it was interesting that Princess Eliana existed because that would mean that the Queen of England's like a completely different human than she is in reality. I think this is like this is like an alternate universe where werewolves are a potential possibility. So like this is Earth number 72,000 or whatever, where the only difference is that werewolves are real potentially, and the Queen of England must be a different person then. Yes, or just younger. Yeah, sure. Or maybe Princess Diana actually survived and is the Queen of England now. Maybe. The timeline's just like a little whack. Yeah. So Pembroke finally caves with the stipulation that he'll try to talk to the man to turn himself in first, and Thatcher gives him until 10 p.m. to come up with all the evidence. Don't give him to anything. Put a warrant in his face and just do your job. The chief leave, and Pembroke proceeds to have an entire conversation out loud to himself. For Elizabeth's benefit. That the evidence has to be wrong. His son isn't a killer or a werewolf. He vows to clear his name and not let another scandal rock the family name. And he continues, scandal? Yeah, he continues out loud that he must warn Robert before he talks to Thatcher and make him disappear for a bit to allow time to find the real werewolf. And then he goes on to make a phone call. Sure. Also out loud for Elizabeth's benefit. Well, he goes into the secret room to make his phone call because it's on a separate line. Sure. I gotta have the bat phone in the secret room. Yes. So he starts to head there and then realizes that the door is ajar. And he's like, that's odd. He continues out loud. I'm certain. Why? Why is his internal monologue broken? It's one of my favorite parts. I'm certain I didn't leave the door ajar, and Annabelle is the only other soul who ever knew about this room. And that was years ago. What? No, what? Too sidetracked and, in his thoughts to check further, he heads into the room. And Liz, I guess, was under a desk this whole time. What? Okay, so back up. So we're going to have to expand our theory that all characters in movies and TV are played by android, which is why they don't act like humans, and make Mr. Pembroke here the prototype android that's still a little glitchy, because clearly no human being on the planet would behave like that. I just love the idea that he's standing in his room and he's like, I'm certain I didn't leave that door ajar, and Annabelle is the only other soul who ever knew about this room, and that was years ago, out loud to himself in a library. Sure, I guess, but brains don't... I know that the information has to get to Elizabeth, but maybe he could have just wrote that all down and handed her a note while she's under the table with that, because that's just as plausible. He has a full conversation with himself. Listen, we all talk to ourselves sometimes out loud, but all the time. I am not having multi-minute full conversations out loud to myself. Usually it's a swear or two when I stub my toe, but all right. Anyway, Elizabeth under the desk, apparently invisible. Again, this is where I learned she was under the desk, because prior to that, did not know that. I don't believe it still. I think she's just standing there with the book on her head, like she's like, be a lamp with the book on her head, like lampshade. And she decides that she has to call Luke right then and there. And she just makes the phone call from the desk phone instead of literally anywhere else on the entire property. So
She knows the man she's suspicious of is in the secret room literally right next to her.
Yes.
And she's like, instead of, I don't know, moving 2 or 3 rooms away or getting the heck out of there and making the call from a safe location, I will simply call from his own phone mere feet from him.
Yes.
And he doesn't hear her?
Yes.
Is someone listening on the other line?
No, they're separate lines.
So there's no consequence for Elizabeth doing this.
Correct.
Insane.
So funny. She's like, oh, I'm so glad that the lines are separate because I could make the call from the desk line.
You know, you wouldn't have to, like, contort yourself into having a secret room with a bat phone if you just let her leave the freaking house.
So she gets a hold of Tony instead at the paper, and because Luke is off doing something.
Writing more werewolf poetry.
And probably. And by the way, Jessica has gone off on holiday with her beau. And Jessica, oh no, she's alone with a killer, Sam, who's a werewolf.
I'm struggling to care. I believe she may be killed, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, Elizabeth drops everything, rushes back to London.
Okay, well, it somewhat undercuts the tension of the book when you're kind of rooting for the characters to die.
And Pembroke, in his little special office, meanwhile, is, warning his son to hit the road and hide. Robert himself also seems to believe there's a werewolf, and he promises to leave after his date with Jessica that morning.
So Robert believes there is a werewolf. Does he believe it's himself?
I mean, if he does, we don't know. We don't ever get into Robert's head, really.
I mean, sounds like a terrifying place.
We'll find out.
Wait. Oh, Danielle, I just had a thought.
Mm-hmm.
You remember Blood and Chocolate?
Yes.
Where, like, the werewolf-obsessed nerd realizes he's kind of dating the werewolf and freaks out?
Yes.
I want to imagine Luke is going to be like, oh, wait, Robert's a real werewolf? That's what I want. Forget Elizabeth.
He's going to go after Robert.
Yeah, he's like, there's a real werewolf. Now he's like, yes, that is the man for me.
That's a great one. I did not think of that plot line. I thought of several plot lines, which we'll get into as we go along, because I was like, maybe this person's the werewolf. Maybe this person's the werewolf.
I just like the idea that Luke is, like, secretly in love with the concept of werewolves and is really hoping that, like, I really hope there's a werewolf out there for me.
She's like, oh, the murder started when Elizabeth and Jessica came into town. Maybe Elizabeth is a werewolf.
Exactly. Like, he secretly believes she might be the werewolf and is like, maybe.
So Robert tells Jessica, they're on their date, that he has to leave town, and she's bummed. And he's like, so sorry, I'll be back eventually. And she goes shopping. Liz goes to find
Danielle, sorry, I thought we weren't supposed to do stereotypes on this podcast.
Well, Jessica is very into shopping. It's her whole thing.
Okay, sure.
Liz goes to find her, naturally assuming that they might have gone shopping, and is rushing also through the shops.
Sorry, don't do the one drinking.
Asking clerks. This is my favorite part. So she's asking all these store clerks if they've seen a blonde girl who's about 16-year-old blonde girl. She's like describing the person, and before she says, oh, and they look like me. And I'm like, just start with that. It's like having a picture. You don't need to describe the person. You are the person.
That's such a good point, Danielle. Okay, so there's this person I'm looking for. They're, 5'6", blonde, blue eyes, kind of, narrow features, kind of strong chin. You know what? They're my identical twin. This will get me. Have you seen those?
She's going in. She's like, have you seen a 16-year-old blonde girl? And the clerk's like, huh? And she's like, oh, well, I guess she looks like me. And I was like, why would you start with 16-year-old blonde? Literally just walk in and say, have you seen a girl that looks like me?
I mean, that is like having a cheat code and just not using it.
It's so
insane.
Funny. I couldn't believe it was her second thought and not her first one. I was laughing really hard.
That feels like something you'd see like a Naked Gun movie or something. It's so like parody worthy.
Very good. Back at the dorms, David is bemoaning the fact that Eliana is hiding something from him. You might remember again.
He's like,
David
she's so pretty, and I want to date her so bad, but she's hiding it from me. Maybe it's that she's not really from Liverpool. I'll still love her if she's from Norfolk or something.
Yes, and Portia, you might remember Portia. Portia's the actress.
Oh, right, the one who treated them all terribly and excused it by saying she was method acting.
Yes, exactly that.
Great.
So Portia encourages him to give her time, and he insists that she better hurry up because he can't stay in a relationship he's only been in for days because of dishonesty.
So
that's like
Elizabeth has been dating Luke for all of 3 days and is already like,
David and Eliana. David and Eliana.
I know. I'm getting to this. I'm getting to that. Don't worry.
Okay.
And she's already like, forget Todd. And then Jessica is dating Robert for all 3 days, and her fathers are like, marriage time, and let them run away together on vacation. And now David and Ileana have been dating for like 3 days. He's already like super obsessed with her. And like, it's like, this is the dishonesty of the relationship that's been alive all 3. I don't know everything about her already. Therefore, she's being dishonest. Like, these children need to calm the heck down. Take it down a notch.
This whole plot takes, I think, a month. I think they're there for a month on this internship. So this is 2 weeks in, I think. So they're like, none of these people have been dating longer than 2 weeks maximum.
These children need to chill.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then this conversation also makes Portia realize that she should tell her famous father. You might remember he was a famous Shakespearean actor who was against her acting, that she's in a play, and she decides she's going to come clean to him. This is really irrelevant. I just thought I'd throw it in there.
I'm going to ask, like, how does that impact anything? Oh, does it? Great. Perfect. Yet I care more about that than anything else you've told me so far.
Jessica finally finishes her shopping trip and she heads back into town, coming across an empty platform as she waits for the train. It starts to unnerve her, and then she realizes that a strange noise is coming from the tunnel, a heavy panting sound. No, it's not a howl.
Too obvious.
And this is panting sounds coming closer and closer as it races towards her. And she starts to run.
It's a train sound.
No, it specifically says in the text, Sam, that it is not the train.
I think it's a train. I think again, as an American, Jessica doesn't have a lot of experience with trains, so.
That's true. Public transportation's a myth in the United States.
Well, especially in like Southern California.
So she starts to run, but she trips probably on all the shopping bags that she's running with, and she falls to the cold tile floor. Dun, dun, dun!
Oh, no. Maybe she'll die. How terrible.
Meanwhile...
Maybe she tripped and fell into the tracks.
Liz makes it back to the news, desperate to tell someone that Jessica's life is in danger. I don't know why she goes to the news station to do this. But Tony's there. You might remember him. He was one of the writers.
Can't you use her twin tuition to find her?
You'd think so, but no.
Okay.
Tony is paying her absolutely no mind, having heard a rumor that the dead woman at the Pembroke Manor was actually the missing princess. And Liz tells him... Liz is like, it's definitely not the princess. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I saw it also. It was the cook. And also there may be another murder if he doesn't listen to her. Dun, dun, dun. Some more.
Okay, great. Again, if I was him, I'd be like, I don't care. You're a child.
Okay,
why should I trust you?
16-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, 16-year-old who thinks she's too good for editing. I know that's her sister, but they're probably the same that way.
Back on the platform, Jessica is frozen in terror, and she feels hair brush against the back of her arm and a hot breath on her neck and the weight of a large creature.
It's a cat. It's a house cat. It's just a random, like, stray cat or something.
Yeah. And it leans in closer to her, and she can't see it because she's, face first on the cold tile of the tunnel. And it goes,
oh, you all right, love? Because it's just a hairy dude.
But thankfully, just as the thing rears back to strike, a man and a woman talking approach the platform, and probably not a werewolf, runs off. Disappears.
I like my idea better. It's just some, chav or whatever.
Must be it. So she finally gets up. She decides she's going to head to the news station to tell Luke and Liz, because they're official werewolf hunters, so they'll know what to do, she thinks.
Official now.
So she makes it back to the news station. She interrupts Liz's story to Tony at the paper, and Liz is thrilled to see her because she thought that she was going to die. And they go get Lucy, who was the one who left the newspaper, then came back to the newspaper or whatever. She was the crime reporter. And they tell her the whole story. Lucy states that she does not believe in werewolves, but, quote, as journalists, we do have to consider every possibility.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You really don't.
They decide they need...
You can consider just the ones that are likely or make sense. You don't be like, you know what it could also be? It could also be a series of well-timed asteroids being shot by moon men that are hitting people in the throats.
Yeah.
Do you want to consider that one too?
Why, if it's werewolves, it could be anything. Why are we even, pretending like that's an option?
It could be a ghost with a throat fetish.
That's true.
Could be, you know what else it could be, Danielle?
A piece of jewelry that explodes upon touching it?
That's a good one. I was going to say they keep eating a genetically engineered piece of fruit, that like a grape, that once it gets to your throat explodes like a bomb.
Yes. All those things more probable than werewolves.
I'm not saying more probable, but equally probably.
So they decide that they need a forensic tech, basically, to check out all the now tainted evidence that Liz has brought with her. Agreeing.
Wait. The newspaper needs a forensic... The police have the...
They talk about going to the police, but they don't want to, like, get it involved or whatever. So they agree to go...
You don't want to get the professionals involved with authority. Great.
Yeah. So they don't want to go to Thatcher. But then they realize that they have the man for the job. Any ideas, Sam?
Is it Luke?
No, it's Bumbo. Bumbo's gonna help him out. He loves
hero.
forensic tech.
Okay. All right. Okay. Oof. I need a moment here. And I get that in reality, police are not always to be trusted as authority figures, but in this book, they are more reliable than teenage girls in terms of investigations, or should be, but they're not because the chief is like stifling the investigation.
Well, to be fair, Elizabeth knows that he's stifling the investigation, so maybe
except
they just
that she
don't
knows he's no longer doing
Thatcher.
it. But she also knows that he's like done with that. He's going to be on board. So if she's like, "Hey, I have a bunch of evidence for you that the dude is hiding," he'd be like, "Thank you for telling me."
That's true. But no, they don't do that.
I do really like that Bumpo is the hero. Like, yeah, Bumpo.
I think partly because he really likes to do forensics, but partly because he's kind of stupid, so they think they can probably get away with it without too many questions.
Which just shows how terrible they are. They're trying to take advantage of a poor, honest man doing his job.
They do. So nobody can convince Jessica, however, that Robert is out to get her or anyone else, but she does agree that maybe someone is out to get her, given that she was almost murdered and now almost murdered again.
You mean she thinks the werewolf murder was another, like, targeted attempt against her?
Yeah, at the train station, because she was almost murdered in the bed, but it was Joy, and then she now thinks that somebody's trying to hurt her because she was almost hurt at the train station.
By a raccoon or something, probably.
Yes, probably. Yes, you rabid raccoon.
Look.
Plot twist.
I would believe a badger or a raccoon before I believe werewolf, thank you.
Yes, it's Thatcher the raccoon hatcher.
Man, those
He's
books
creating an
had
army.
There are a whole series of those books
to take
that could
over
have
the
been.
city. It could also be raccoons that are tearing out the throat, Sam.
They get their little hands, they can do it.
They could come in and out of windows very easily.
They're the burglars of the animal kingdom for a reason.
All right, we figured out the solution.
Okay, there are raccoons in England, right?
Surely, I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know if they're North American or not, or whatever.
Hey, British listeners, are there raccoons in England? It doesn't really matter. He could still like have got to the raccoons and imported them and created an army. All right, so David and Eliana go on a date. They're touristing again, but on the way home, they come across a newspaper headline suggesting that Eliana is dead. Ah!
Wait. But he doesn't know Eliana's the princess.
No, but it catches David's attention, the headline, and he scoffs like that it's so sordid. And then he picks up the newspaper and he flaps it open so he can read the article.
And sees the picture.
And he sees the picture of Eliana that's like a full front page spread of her. And she's standing right next to it and she starts to panic because she's like, there's no way he doesn't notice that her sketchy disguise is...
You're completely like mediocre, low effort disguise.
It's amazing to me that she's supposedly this princess. You think she'd be in the public eye pretty frequently, even if she was kept in their palace grounds. Yeah. And nobody has somehow matched her as the princess.
Incredible work. Like, everyone in this book is just top notch at observation.
Yeah. Anyway, she panics. She flees. Later,
she runs. She doesn't like
she just runs.
Tear the newspaper off his hand or like, oops, I spilled on it or whatever.
Later, she's telling her sob story to Liz, who's trying to convince her that David is better than that. He's not going to let her slip through his fingers.
Yeah,
just because she hasn't told him that.
No offense to Eliana, but like, if I was David and I learned the truth, I'm like, girl, I've been dating for 2 weeks or £1 million for just letting her family know she's okay. I know what I'm taking.
Oh, speaking of that, good call, Sam. So Liz suddenly grins, realizing there's an obvious solution to this problem. David will turn Eliana in, then he'll get the £1 million reward, and he's talked about how if he had a ton of money, he would fund the medical clinic for the soup kitchen, where they both help out at, and he could go to medical school if he wanted, which is another thing he would have done if he had the money. So now there's a plan in place, Sam. That's what they're going to tell David to do.
You know what? That's like another option. If I was David, I'd be like...
option. Or he could take the money and run. Nobody's stopping him.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I guess David's a better man than I.
So David bursts into the room as they're coming up with a plan and rather immediately declares his love for her, telling that he's loved her as a pauper and will love her just as much as a princess.
Did he overhear or did he figure it out?
No, he figured it out and he just like pops in, I think.
If it's that easy to figure out, how come no one else did it?
Because nobody else has held up a picture of the princess next to the girl with her glasses and different hair colors.
Yeah, whatever, sure.
So they tell David the plan, and I'm assuming he's on board.
$3 million and I still get the girl. I'm sorry, £1 million and I still get the girl? Heck yes, I'm in.
Also, side plot, Portia finally gets her dad to see her show, and he loves it and accepts her, and it's fine. Glad that story exists. Moving on.
We should just end the book there. That's the only plot I care about.
Back at the manor, Thatcher arrives for his clues, which Pembroke angrily hands over after Thatcher reminds him that the blood of all the murders is on their hands. And
more yours than his, as the professional police who should be handling this case.
That's certainly true. And then Liz helps put together a press conference with the newspaper announcing the return of the princess, who steps up there. Everybody's like, oh, she's back. And she does this whole long speech about how she wanted to live her best life. She charms all the writers, and I'm sure that won't be a PR disaster for everybody.
No.
And also, during this, Bumpo's forensic report comes back, and the threads are definitely from Robert's robe, as well as the fur, which is definitely from a wolf. So that's where we landed on that. Robert's
Maybe
wolf,
the fur is from one of the many wolf pelts that the Pembrokes like to collect.
This is still very circumstantial. He lives in the house. They found threads
of
his... Like, there's no way this would work in a court of law.
No law can bind the Wakefield twins.
Or werewolves. So during this... sorry, hang on. Let me get back to my screen.
Sorry. Do the immigrant song now.
So during the press conference...
Thrash! Masters of the universe!
Okay. Anyway, during the press conference, while all this is happening,
sure.
One of the news reporters asks the police why they couldn't figure out that the princess was a teenage girl blocks from her home in London.
Good question. You know what? Maybe there's more to be done about looking into these police, because they seem to be hiding things like a werewolf investigation.
While that's happening, Thatcher is like, ignore that question. By the way, Robert is a suspect in the murder of multiple people.
So he is using the Robert bombshell to distract from his gross incompetence?
I have to assume. Otherwise, it's just really weird timing. First off, it's weird to take over a news conference of a princess returning to tell people about Robert Pembroke being in, like, a murder suspect.
I mean, if I was him, I'd be worried if I, like, butt in, like, the person would be like, have him arrested.
And also, it's just creating another PR nightmare, because now you're saying, oh, by the way, we have a murder suspect for 4 murders we told nobody about.
Yeah.
And this is not how any of this would go down, because the Pembrokes have a ton of money, and at most it'd be a person of interest, quote unquote. There's no way they'd be like, he's up for murder.
Oh, which, again, shows the corrupting influence of money on our authority systems.
And they're good, like, supposedly friends. So, like, there's no reason this would have been so dramatically announced at a press conference for a princess.
But, we got to cover your own butt, I guess.
So Jessica vows to clear Robert's name because she loves him. And
as much as a 16-year-old can love a 20-year-old who doesn't know she's 16.
Yes. And this is where book 2 ends, Sam. And we're on to book 3 in the arc. It's called Beware the Wolfman. And I'm going to give you a summary.
Oh my gosh, that second half of that book was so long.
It was a lot of stuff.
On assignment for the London Journal, not really, Elizabeth and Jessica Wakefield track a deadly werewolf, not really a werewolf, and discover that they have become the villain's next targets. Well, we knew that from the start, so nothing in this description is helpful.
Just for you. The book opens discussing how terrible Eliana was at hiding she was a princess. In the following ways. Yes.
Okay, great. Perfect.
She ran away with a fancy cocktail dress that they found in her closet.
Wait, so question. Is the book making fun of Eliana for this, or is it like just telling you these things and we're concluding she's terrible?
It's the group of kids that are like talking about like, oh, I thought all these things were weird, and then they're just like saying, oh, what about this and this and this, and so there's all the things.
Apparently not weird to put it together, so...
So, again, she ran away with a fancy cocktail dress. They found it in her closet. I don't know why she took it with her when you run away from home. Do you often take fancy cocktail dresses with you?
I do.
So. She had, fancy silk nightgowns. Her glasses had clear lenses that she wore.
As opposed to, you mean fake lenses?
Like fake lenses. They were fake. And they found out about it. She knew
How?
high society gossip.
Did she tell them?
No, I think somebody tried on, grabbed them or tried them on or something weird. I don't remember. She knew all this high society gossip. She knew about all these London locations. She was constantly mentioning her previous life. They didn't notice that. I just added that onto the list. And then she told Liz a week into knowing her that she was a missing princess.
Yeah, not great at this whole running away thing.
Yeah, impressive. Also, somehow the newspapers have started to run with the werewolf story, which makes zero sense. There was, nobody announced that there was a werewolf involved in this.
I mean, I bet the Sun rags or something would, but not a legitimate newspaper.
But there's no tie-in. There's no. All they know is that throats have been ripped out. Why would anybody go werewolf? Again, we live in an alternate reality where werewolves are a possibility.
That's what I'm saying. The Wakefield twins said it, so it must be true.
Jessica storms into the room with them where they're all talking and has a full-out yelling argument with Liz about Robert not being a werewolf murderer, and now they're not talking. So, just FYI, that's happening.
I don't really care because their fights apparently don't last more than a few pages, or they're completely gone by the next book, even when they involve killing your boyfriend.
Yeah, they definitely are gone by the next book. They figured this out eventually. But Liz doesn't really care because she's so in love with Luke, and when he puts his arms around her, she instantly forgets that she has a boyfriend back home.
She forgot him weeks ago.
Luke makes her promise not to put herself in harm's way, and she's like, yeah, totally, I definitely won't do that, except when I do. He insists and hands her a silver bullet. She thankfully asks the question I had, which is...
do you have a gun?
Yeah, without a gun. And he's like, carry it in your pocket. He'll know you have it, that you have the power to destroy him.
What?
What?
You don't. Unless you can fire the silver bullet. You do, press it really hard against his chest, got you.
Stab him with the end.
You have to, pick it up and try to, hit the firing pin with, a stick or a hammer. Hold still.
I just don't understand. I'm like, all right, Luke. Liz is invited by Eliana
Luke sucks. I'm sorry.
Liz is invited.
He doesn't want to kill a werewolf. He wants to get Elizabeth as bait to attract the werewolf so he can date it.
Yeah, crazy. Liz is invited by Eliana to meet the family, so she's off to see the queen. That does not matter. I just thought I'd throw it in there.
What? What? Royal visit, not important. Werewolf, very important.
This friend that I've had for 2 weeks and my boyfriend are invited to meet the Queen of England.
Okay, great. Wild. I mean, not your boyfriend. It's your boyfriend now, but you had your other boyfriend who's your real boyfriend who you're cheating on.
Yep. And Jessica is stuck at home. She's all pissed off about Robert and Liz. And Portia suggests she just private eye it. And if she loves Robert enough, she'll get her life together and prove he's innocent. Portia tells her to start at the beginning. And so she starts listing all the murders, thinking there must be a connection leading them all back to the killer. And I'm sure the cops
throats are being
thought
slit
of this process.
No, I mean, given how incompetent they've been thus far, I would not be surprised. They're maybe a connection to all these murders.
Yep, well, we'll find out. Under the pretense of shopping, Jessica heads out to the original crime scene of the doctor. I guess that nurse who died before him doesn't matter. She's never brought up. I have no idea why she was murdered. I don't know if I missed it. They didn't bring it up again. I don't know. Luckily, though, the front gate is padlocked, and it doesn't matter because she jumps the sidewall. And then she jimmies open a window and heads inside to look for clues.
Really good work there, detective. Not so good. Sorry. I'd certainly give a better insult, but it didn't come to me. I don't care. I don't want to put enough effort into these.
So after searching through this house, she finds his patient files. I guess maybe his office is there, too.
Did he treat werewolves? Was that his thing? Was he a lycanthropy specialist?
Yeah, he's a lycanthropy specialist, Sam.
What do you call that? A lycanthrologist?
Yes, a lycanthrologist.
Something like otolaryngologist or oncologist, lycanthrologist.
Well-known study of werewolf disease of werewolves.
Yes, try to treat werewolf disease, Danielle, please. Everyone knows lycanthropology.
So she finds all these files. She's searching through them. She sees ones for the Pembrokes, among others, before noticing an odd file only labeled S. Annabelle instead of a full name, which catches her attention.
F. Annabelle.
S isn't Sam.
Oh, okay.
So
her name is Sam. Yeah, okay. Got it. Makes sense. Perfect. I assume all S names are Sam.
S. Annabelle.
Sally. Soup.
It catches her attention. And a stamp is across the front of the folder with the word deceased, with a handwritten note that the patient died of pneumonia. No, pneumonia, Sam.
Oh, that's just a code word for werewolf in the medical field.
Yes, it is. Nothing else in the chart, but Jessica decides it's probably irrelevant anyways. The person can't be related to the case, and she died almost 9 years ago, so what does it matter? And she's about to shove the file back into the cabinet when she hears something, possibly footsteps, and she panics, pushing the file into her shoulder bag and dashing back to the kitchen out of the window she came in.
So she accidentally steals the key piece of evidence.
Yes.
Bonkers!
So that happens, but then surprise, Liz pried open the door to this same building, a house, and is sneaking into the doctor's apartment or whatever this is too. So she does a search.
Twins by appearance, twins by stupidity.
She does a search. She finds the exact same files, but she takes home the Pembroke's medical info because, Annabelle's isn't there anymore. And she also looks through a Rolodex on the desk, looking at the names. Remember Rolodexes,
Danielle,
Sam?
I was going to say, can you please explain a Rolodex to our younger audience?
It was this, actually, we still have them in the office I work at because there's old people there. But they're like little, I don't even know how to describe. They're like little index cards that are notched that you can put into
index
rows.
Card?
You know what? Everybody knows what an index card is.
I don't know.
And you can put people's contact information on it, and it's called a Rolodex because you can spin it, and it like all the little index cards flop, 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 and you can look through, and it's like A to B, C to D, whatever, so you can find people's information. It's like a address book, but with index cards.
This has been Danielle Explores the Past. Do.
So, Rolodex, everybody.
Look it up at your local library.
And your Funkin' Wagnalls. Stopping she stops at one of the cards that sounds familiar, and she realizes it's Mildred Price, the Pembroke nanny. And it occurs to her that Robert might have head towards her house to stay. Like, where would you go if you were looking for a place to stay? Your old
nanny's house? Yeah, okay,
yes.
Sure. That's how it works. England is weird.
So she starts to jot down the name, but is interrupted by a creaking floor in the house, and the noise continues.
More footsteps, and so she goes hide where Jessica is.
Yeah, so she panics. She grabs the Rolodex card out, leaving the note that she was writing behind, which totally seems like a good idea at a crime scene to leave something behind.
Leave more evidence behind, yeah.
And then she also leaves through whatever door that she came in. So everybody's out of the house, except we cut to the point of view of the third intruder.
This place is just hopping.
It's like some kind of old comedy show.
This feels like an Abbott and Costello routine.
Yeah. He's prowling through the house, unbearable emotions acting about his body and driving him mad.
Pembroke?
I don't know. It's the werewolf, Sam.
Oh, it's the werewolf. I'm sorry.
He claws at the doors and sniffs the air, instantly recognizing the scent of the two girls before him. He leaps across the room, yanking open the drawers of the filing cabinet. It's not here, he laments, knocking it over in fury. It's not there, they took it. A howl tears at his throat until his eyes catch on a scrap of paper on the desk. Mildred Price. A cunning gleam shoots through his eyes. Nanny Millie, he thinks, and steals out of the room. So it's good to know that Liz killed the nanny if she dies by
werewolf.
The crime scene.
I mean, what's the body count for the twins anyway? It's gotta be, like, astronomical.
Very high.
Great.
So Liz plans on heading to Mildred's house that night, but darn it, she made plans with her French third boyfriend, Renee, to have tea.
I mean, I respect Elizabeth. No, wait. Yes, Elizabeth wanted to play the field in her game. Like, good for her. But, like, she is lying to all her various boyfriends about them being her various boyfriends. So that's not okay.
And she can't cancel this one.
If you want to be polyamorous, like, go for it, girl. Like, you do you. But it's about honesty, really.
Yeah, she's not being honest to any of these people. But she can't stand him up because she stood him up last time, you might remember, and Renee was kind of mad about it.
Werewolf murder or standing up this guy I barely know. Uh-oh.
Yeah. So she has her date with Renee, and she's like insinuating that's a werewolf. You might remember he does not believe werewolves, and he is still like, no. And he tells her to stop putting herself in danger. And she's like, never! Besides, my twin is in danger, not me. I'm sure that won't be a problem at all.
It's not like you're indistinguishable.
Oh, they look exactly the same.
Well, she obviously doesn't know that because she couldn't think about describing her twin as anything other than like
Maybe
the
they don't
long
look
way.
the same. Maybe I'm just assuming they look the same.
No, they do look the same. They just don't know they look the same because they've never looked in a mirror at the same time.
Maybe they're face blind. They don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Who's Captain Faceblind? I forget who that guy is.
I don't know.
From one of our previous books, we talked about someone with Captain Faceblindness. Oh, Prince Faceblindness from Cinderella.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was funny.
The disease. It's
that
in England. It
makes
makes sense.
way more sense if he doesn't know what people look like.
Yeah, if he's face blind, then suddenly it makes sense.
Or any interpretation where there's a masquerade, that makes way more sense as well.
Slightly more, yes, but still not a lot.
So she goes home that night, pulls out her, this is Liz, she goes home that night, she pulls out her letters from Todd, her boyfriend.
Oh, no!
And immediately loses herself in them, forgetting all about Renee and Luke. And she realizes it's the first time she's missed Todd since she's been there. And no matter how much she likes Luke, they're from different worlds and he could never replace Todd. But then again, she can totally imagine his warm arms around her on this cold London night. And she plays with the necklace he gave her and takes it off to look at it, for the first time noticing an engraving on the back. And it's a letter A. And she wonders where it came from. And
it's
if
a
it belonged
scarlet
to
letter because you're adulterating on your Todd.
Yes, that's what Luke's trying to tell her, like Loki in code.
Yeah, I like the idea that's a Scarlet Letter reference. No, but
he's like, I know about Todd.
I missed the last part about that block. We'll get back to it because I want to talk a minute here about Elizabeth and how terrible she is. Because her attention span seems to be whichever boy I'm currently getting attention from is the one I love.
Whatever one whose like a name is in her head in that moment is the one she's obsessed with. She's
terrible,
like, Todd,
awful.
no, Renee, oops, no, wait, Luke. I love them all. I don't know how to choose.
He's from a different world. He's British.
I know. I read that. I was like, what world? They can't make it work because he lives there? I guess maybe.
He speaks English slightly differently than I do. He says aluminium. I can't stand it.
Yeah. So
ridiculous.
That's where she stands.
She's awful. I mean, I get she's a teenager, but come on.
The next morning, Liz heads out. She's walking to the tube station.
Besides the A on the back of the necklace, was there anything important about it?
She just wonders if maybe it would belong to his mother.
Oh, Annabelle, got it.
No, because Annabelle is not Luke's mom.
Maybe. We don't know.
As far as we know.
I was like, Danielle, prove me wrong, as you like to say.
No, we'll get into it.
As I like to say.
In that exact way. I actually say that now because you say it like that. I do it like outside of the podcast now.
Because they're so effective at communicating.
It's funny.
We're a bad influence on each other.
I do pick up things from people very quickly.
Yeah, ditto.
So Liz heads out, she's going to the tube station, and then she realizes the hair on the back of her neck is standing on end. And then she remembers she impulsively left the necklace inside Jessica's bag to protect her.
The protection necklace. No.
So she's, I know, unprotected from fictional werewolves, and maybe she should have the bullet in her pocket, but I don't think she does.
The bullet that will somehow repel them because they'll sense the bullet on me or whatever. Yeah. Be like, if you had a gun, you'd be able to kill me, and that makes me afraid.
Yes, and this is where I had my first plot thought because, again, I had not read this
plot
books.
thought.
Yeah, so this
wait,
I was like,
we need
maybe
a theme song for this. Danielle's plot thoughts.
Dun 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 dun. So my first thought was maybe the werewolf can't tell the difference between the twins without her having the necklace on.
Twins?
Like maybe that's why she has to wear the necklace.
Because, like, the werewolf isn't capable of distinguishing them because they smell the same because they're twinned.
And they look
and the
same,
necklace is the only way to distinguish them.
I have to assume.
But why does the werewolf care to distinguish them? Can't just kill them both?
It could be a plot line. I don't know.
Just kill them both. Who cares?
Maybe Luke's on the take. You know, he's, like, working with the werewolf.
I'm going to mark the one you need to kill. Like, the passage, like, the one with the necklace is the one that needs to go.
So, she loses... She loses the person that she thinks is following her, you know, with the creepy vibes, and she decides to take the bus instead. Back in the dorms, Jessica wakes up late and rushes out of the room, only to realize she forgot something, and then she hurries back in. But to her surprise, while she was gone, the bedroom door is cracked open slightly, and when she steps inside, she realizes...
There's a werewolf!
No, she realizes that Robert must have come to visit, because she can smell his scent, and the bed is made.
Wait, why is she smelling things like a werewolf now?
All of them can smell each other.
Look,
it's just a thing in this book.
I get recognizing the scent of certain people or loved ones that you're familiar with. I also recognize this as someone who has a very strong cologne or distinguished.
I think she smells his cologne is probably
okay. I'm just saying, like, suddenly be able to smell like, I smell Elizabeth in here, and I also smell Robert or whoever.
As you'll see when we get into the werewolf head a couple of times, he can, as far as I can tell, the werewolf can smell people.
Amazing. I mean, he's a werewolf, Danielle. Clearly he's a real werewolf.
yeah, I believe it.
It's not a complete fabrication or misdirection by the writer trying to really hard to cover the fact that it's not really a werewolf.
Yeah. So Jessica rushes out of the room trying to catch Robert, but only sees a homeless man who may or may not be Robert in disguise. Who knows? It's just very pointed that there is a homeless person outside of that. It's definitely not Robert.
Robert's the master of disguise that Eliana never was.
Yes, it's quite possible. Again, these are all my thoughts. I did not know what was going to happen. I'm not trying to spoil anything for anybody. I don't know at this point what's happening.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone cares about spoilers if they're listening to this podcast, Danielle.
Yes, I'm just saying that if I say something, know that it was just my thought in the moment.
You're not actually, like, predicting.
I'm not telling you what's happening. Yep. Back at the paper, Luke realizes that Liz isn't wearing the pendant and asks her about it, concerned that she's no longer protected.
Maybe she wants to be more independent.
Maybe. She admits that she gave it to, I'm ignoring you, gave it to Jessica to protect her. And I guess there aren't any other pendants you can buy, even though they're so popular that even Renee knew what it was when he saw it previously.
You can't, like, pop down to the local werewolf repellent shop and buy a couple of pendants?
Yeah, I guess not. She asks about the A engraving, and Luke tells her that it was his mother's before him, and her name was Anne.
Annabelle!
No, Anne.
Short for Annabelle. What's so hard about this?
Sam, we will get into it.
I refuse to believe this book is going to have two women who are crucial to the plot. One named Anne, one named Annabelle. That's ludicrous, Danielle. Even though it's true, it's ludicrous.
We'll find out. Because I have thoughts later.
I hate it already.
They're interrupted by Tony letting them know there was a murder. And it might be another werewolf killing.
It was the nanny.
Maybe. As they head out, Liz gets a bad feeling. And in fact, it's the same area where the Pembroke's nanny lives. So surely it can't be her.
I didn't leave her name on a piece of paper in the crime scene.
Yeah, spoiler, it totally is her. And Liz never once thinks, oh no,
like grapples with her culpability. She never once thinks about she might be culpable in some way, never tries to accept responsibility because her whole life has been a privileged one where she never had to suffer any consequences for any of her terrible actions.
Crazy.
What a series of books, Danielle, you've brought to me.
I know, you're welcome. So the granddaughter of Nanny Pembroke, I don't remember her actual name right now, she confirms that Robert was there a night or two last week. And then she makes the incredible jump in logic that he must have come back to murder her.
Okay, what?
She's like, and if I had only known, I knew he was going to be the murderer. Like, she's just very in on it. She's like, yep, this guy that was here last week definitely came back randomly to murder my grandmother. Couldn't possibly be anybody else.
Why is everyone jumping to conclusions like they're kangaroos without body casts?
I don't know. But it's not looking good for Jessica's true love, Sam.
Her true love, a pompous, rich person. Like, that's all she's got. Like, she only likes him because he's rich, really, or powerful, or whatever.
That's quite possible. He seems nice enough to her. Like, I don't bear Robert any ill will other than being a murderer.
Not the throat ripping, other than that, he's a totally nice guy.
Tony and Liz step outside the house, heading towards the bus to get home, only to see Renee stepping out from a bus on the corner. And Liz is surprised to see him, given his very busy, important job at the embassy that he's not been able to get away from almost ever during any of these books. And he tells her very sketchily that he is calling on a friend of his mother's, and she finds that odd, but doesn't question it.
Is he like a long-lost relative of the Pembroques, and he's bitter about it, and he's like murdering them and their family to like get back at him being abandoned as an illegitimate child? Maybe,
we'll find out.
Okay, sure. I mean, that's as likely as anything else I can think of.
Tony seems to be fully on board, by the way, of the werewolf train, calling Robert the werewolf when he references him. And he suggests that Nanny Millie guessed the truth, and then, afraid that she'd go to the authorities, he came back to kill her. And Liz thinks that's, quote, coldly, perfectly logical. Is it, what? Liz? Is it?
Does logic mean something different on this planet? And this version of reality, is it different than what I know it is?
So funny. I laughed out loud when I read that line.
Yeah, you should.
Tony encourages her to make up with her sister. They can only face this incredible evil power together. Quote, only that way can we counter his strength, foil him in his wicked designs. Don't let yourself become the weak link, Elizabeth. Don't place yourself in the Wolfman's path.
Or, hear me out, werewolf treaty.
I mean, yes.
It worked for those villagers.
Sort of.
I mean, it worked for a while for those villagers until Gary Oldman showed up with his metal elephant.
That's true. He created a problem to solve.
Yeah.
Back with the Wolfman, he's scenting the bedroom. There's a random third girl scent he has no interest in, but the other two, they have something that belonged to him that can hurt him.
A silver bullet.
Yes. He digs through the room, trying to find the folder, finding only the letters from Todd, which he rips up with his teeth before finding the charts for the Pembrokes. He takes those and rips through the rest of the room, looking for the other, which he eventually finds, the one for Annabelle. Concerned that they know about Annabelle S. now, but he still needs to find the last thing, the silver bullet, and it's not in the room. Bum, bum, bum.
Why does he... What? So, okay. The silver bullet is key. The random silver bullet that Luke gave Elizabeth is somehow key to this whole murder history thing?
Yeah, I mean, it is a part of it, because he was looking specifically for the folder of Annabelle S., which he found, but he still needed to find the silver bullet. That's what the plot says, Sam.
So the silver bullet will not protect you from the werewolf. In fact, it is attracting the werewolf to you.
I guess so.
What is this nonsense?
I don't know. I'm not sure it's ever explained. We'll have to find out as we go along.
I mean, I'm excited to learn.
Back with Jessica, she finally finds the anti-werewolf pendant in her bag, and though she thinks it's stupid, she realizes Liz is thinking about her and worried for her even if they aren't talking. And feeling an irresistible pull, she puts the necklace on, tucking it out of sight under her shirt.
The pull is, I'm also an adulterer. That doesn't really fit for her, though. She's not really cheating anyone.
She is actually in the right in this plot, somehow.
Mostly. I mean, besides entrapping the older gentleman into statutory rape, but...
Besides that, she's fine.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Besides that small detail.
Jessica waits for Liz after work, realizing it'll be safer to walk together since it's dark out. And again, they are working at the paper. The paper knows that somebody is after these twins. They let these two kids, 16-year-old children, walk home at night alone to their house. Like, not a single adult in the entire newspaper building is like, maybe you should take a taxi. Maybe
so wait,
you
are
should
they
walk
convinced
there.
that someone is targeting the twins, or they just think it's coincidences?
They know that Jessica was supposed to be in the room where the murder happened, and then Jessica was attacked on the tube station. I would assume any good newspaper reporter might think that Jessica's at risk for being murdered.
I would say also that maybe Jessica was never the target. It was the other woman who was the wife of a police chief.
It could
who
be.
Was the target. And maybe it was just the raccoon on the tube station. Just, I'm just saying.
How did they know Joy was in the bedroom of Jessica's?
Because they saw them switch places?
Sure, possibly. I mean, maybe it's just all a red herring and Joy actually was the target. We'll find out.
I'm just saying, I believe that Joy was the target more readily than that Elizabeth was the target for some reason. Or Jessica or whoever. I don't know. Any one of them.
Regardless, you'd have to be thinking, like, these two kids are knee-deep.
Either way, there's a
right?
murderer on the loose. They should have an escort. Yes.
And you'd think that they'd make, like, no, not a single adult cares. Against they find them as annoying as the rest of us do.
I would protect them. I kind of hope they die. That I believe. That makes the most sense of anything we've discussed so far.
So it doesn't really matter, though, because they make it home without incident, but they're shocked to find that the room is torn apart when they arrive. And the girls both realize that the files are missing as the police are called. And for reasons I don't know, Liz's silver bullet is missing too. Again, like, she had it in her room. The werewolf shows up. The werewolf's looking for it. He can't find it, but now it's missing. Very confusing. Don't know what's going on.
Yeah, where'd the bullet, like, wander off somewhere? Like, I gotta go!
I don't know. Just disappeared. Again, why is she not carrying any of these things on her? I don't know. Doesn't listen to Luke.
I mean, I know why I wouldn't carry a silver bullet on me, because who cares, but I don't know why she's not. She believes in
werewolves!
That's what I'm saying. She should.
To their surprise, Bumpo appears!
Yay, Sergeant Bumpo, the hero we need!
He asks if anything is missing, and they're like, just some files from work and a silver bullet, but...
Totally normal things!
Totally normal things! And Bumpo's like, oh, maybe it was just a prank.
Bumpo! Bumpo!
I was like, why tell them anything talking about just don't say the files. Why would you ever say, you're not bringing the police into this. Just pretend like the files don't exist, man.
Also, Bumpo, prank! Come on, I thought more highly of you than that. Maybe I should.
He has zero questions about the work files. He doesn't even say, "Oh, like files for the newspaper. What is that about? Like,
why do you have a bullet?
The files?
Maybe.
Why do you have the bullet? Nope. Zero questions.
Crazy.
Yeah, Bumpo leaves after his attempt at questioning and is immediately accosted by the homeless man outside the dorm. And Liz is like, oh, hey, that's the same man I saw in the park the other day. And Jessica's like, oh, hey, I saw him this morning as well. But nobody seems to think this is concerning while they're being stalked by a werewolf. So who knows who this guy is? Probably the werewolf.
How can these twins be the most incredible detectives at finding clues and jumping to conclusions when necessary, but miss the most obvious things right in front of their faces?
I can't tell you.
Incredible.
Renee comes to check on them, and I can't tell you how much I'm hoping this random dude that saved Jessica's life in a sailboat accident
is a werewolf.
Is actually the werewolf.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the idea that Renee's like some long-lost, like, illegitimate son of Pembroke and is like taking revenge on his family by killing like the doctor that hid his birth and covered it up so that they like erased Pembroke from his birth certificate so they could never like have claim to his fortune.
Yes.
And is like murdering the nanny who raised his half-brother and gave him all the pampering that, you know, Renee never got, and so on and so forth.
Exactly, this is what I want. I want this like random character that randomly came back from a whole other series that saved Jessica's life in another series to actually be a werewolf murderer.
I mean, even if he's just faking the whole werewolf and like making it look like a werewolf because he knows Pembroke is totally obsessed with werewolves and wants to like mess with him. Like, father, you loved werewolves more than you loved your illegitimate son, so now they'll be your undoing.
All of that. That's all I want from this plot.
That's much too clever for this book, though, I think.
Oh, you don't know. You'll find out. Man, that's what I want, though.
Liz
heads out because she has a date with Luke. Nobody's taking this whole death thing seriously. They're like, they think they're being threatened by a werewolf, and yet they're all going out at night.
Hey, let's go party. Like, you only live once, I guess.
That night in bed, Jessica can't sleep, and she starts musing on Robert's cologne being in the room and then it being torn apart. She can't fathom why he would have made her bed but then come back to destroy it all. And why did the intruder steal the Annabelle S file? And oh, that reminds her, the A was on the pendant. What if randomly, for no reason whatsoever, the A stood for Annabelle?
Oh, like I said.
So she wakes Liz up to ask about the... Yes.
What is Renee's last name?
I can't quite remember.
Okay. I was going to say, is it start with an S?
She wakes Liz up to ask about the pendant, and Liz is like, no, it was Luke's mom's, and she asks her the name, and Liz tells her it was Anne, and Jessica's like, well, there goes that idea. Anne and Annabelle are remotely similar names.
I look how you tried to pull that on me earlier, like, Anne and Annabelle, very different. I did not buy it for a second, but here, like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
We'll get into it. It's not even the worst of it. Wait for it.
Oh, no.
To be fair, when I first read this, they said Anne, and I was like, oh, that's different than the other. Wait a minute.
No, it's not. I didn't buy that for a second. It's not like the name Anne could be short for Annabelle.
The next morning, the twins head out to work and to their surprise, arrive to chaos in the newsroom. Another attack has happened. Any idea who is attacked this time, Sam?
Bumpo?
No, that'd be fun.
Oh, thank God. Thankfully, I was really scared for Bumpo. I didn't want my one favorite person to die.
Anything else?
Is it Robert Sr.?
It is. It's Lord Pembroke himself.
Yeah, of course.
He survived the attack, but he's in the hospital. He did not get a good look.
He can't tell you who it is. Yeah, of course.
Can't tell you who it is. Nope. They send Jessica out to talk to him because they figure, he likes her. And everyone stands around talking about how Robert for sure is now the culprit, which, sure, whatever. Attacked his father, I guess.
Yeah.
Jessica arrives at the hospital, and the nurse on duty is like, are you in the news? Because we're not letting any news people in. She's like, nope, I'm a friend of the family. And the nurse is like,
I'm dating the son. Okay.
In.
just no verification. You don't ask. Oh, this guy is all terrible at their job.
Room, please.
Yeah. You're going to smother him with a pillow and call it good.
She sits by Lord Pembroke's side and he murmurs to her. He's like, how are you doing? Are you okay? And he's kind of in and out of it. And he starts to murmur to her about how he can't believe it would be his son. You know, he loves her and he was such a good boy. And Jess is murmuring niceties until Pembroke notices her pendant and he asks her where she got it. And she mentions
Is this from my illegitimate lover?
And she mentions it was from her sister. And he tells her it reminds him of the one he gave poor Annabelle. My lovely Annabelle, he murmurs, the only woman I ever really ... and then trails off into semi-consciousness.
The only woman I ever really had sex with. I mean...
That one time that I, helped with Robert.
No, I think that was just like an adoption.
Maybe. And now I have another plot thought. This is another
Okay, plot thought. Danielle's plot thoughts.
I think the current wife is the werewolf because, if this is like, if he's saying that Annabelle's the only woman he ever loved and he's married
and the
to
wife
this
is
other woman.
jealous. And she's like, I know you're obsessed with werewolves, so let me take revenge by killing everyone you ever loved. Like
Lady
your
Pembroke.
nanny. I mean, that one's less believable to me. I'm sorry, Danielle.
We don't know why Annabelle died, and now Lord Pembroke's attacked. We don't know why the nurse died. We don't know, like, of course the nanny is a stretch, but like maybe there's something, maybe the nanny knew something.
Okay, sure. I mean, it's there, but I'm still rooting for Renee.
Maybe the nanny like helped raise the
love child.
like you don't know.
Ooh, okay. You know what? I'm back on board.
Maybe the nanny knew and didn't tell her.
You throw a love child in the mix, Danielle, you know I'm going to be on board.
So she wakes up Pembroke because she's refusing to let the poor man sleep because she's come for some answers and she wants them, darn it.
Answer me, old man, before you die.
And he's obviously on another tangent when he rouses and he tells her to tell Robert something for him. To tell him he has a brother.
I knew it.
Oh my gosh, it's a half-brother, perhaps from this Annabelle lady or some other third party. We don't know what his life was like.
So it's got to be Luke, because Luke is the one whose mother is Anne.
Maybe. Maybe it's somebody else, Sam.
Unless his mother is Anne, that's a red herring for Renee's mother, who's Annabelle, which would be funny.
And she assures him she'll tell him, and he drifts back off. She lets him sleep this time, I guess, because he moved the plot along. So
what's Luke's
good.
last name?
Shepherd.
Oh, Annabelle S, huh?
Shepherd, because it's funny. Sheep.
I gotcha. Sheep in wolf clothing. Gotcha.
Funny.
Or wolf in sheep's clothing. Whatever the way around it goes.
Back at the paper, Liz is poring over her notes from her own investigation, and then she remembers, oh yeah, there was like an Annabelle or something.
Anna. Wait. Annabelle. Anne.
Nope.
Annabelle. No connection.
You wish. It gets progressively worse as the plot goes on. She gets a sudden, powerful hunch that somehow Annabelle's deeply involved and vows to find her and heads back to the secret library because she knows that Pembroke's in the hospital. Tony agrees to go with her to the house, and as they're boarding the train, she thinks she sees Renee on the platform, but he disappears into the crowd. How odd.
How odd. He's a werewolf.
She feels guilty for leaving Luke behind because he's been anti-investigation, but she decides she's just going to tell him afterwards.
Okay, sure.
Jessica contemplates the fact that Luke had the pendant and his mom is named Anne, but he can't possibly be the brother because only the son of an Annabelle with the same pendant would be Robert's brother.
What? How does that exclude him from being Robert's half-brother?
Because he's not, his mom's name was Anne, Sam, and the other person's Annabelle. And Lord Pembroke said that the pendant looked like the one that he gave, but clearly wasn't the same one that the pendant.
Is Jessica stupid or just like rationalizing here?
I wrote so dumb.
Okay, great. I got that question answered. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Again, I don't know how the plot goes. This was my thought at the time. Maybe it's not dumb, Sam. Maybe they're separate people.
Look, I think we've narrowed down two possibilities that are equally likely. Either Luke or Renee are the illegitimate son and are taking revenge on their family for hiding their heritage from them or whatever, like hiding their wealth and
hear me out,
privilege.
It's Bumpo.
I mean, if it was Bumpo sick of everyone underestimating him, I'd love it. I'll show them what a real criminal looks like.
Or it's David, and now he's been awarded this £1 million from and met the
David
queen,
is not
and
a
he's
thing.
going to
care about
take
David.
down the entire dynasty.
David is an irrelevant distraction. So I don't know which is dumber. The fact that Luke has a mother named Anne who gave him a pendant that looks similar to the one that Annabelle had with her son Renee, or that it's the same person and Jessica can't figure out that Anne and Annabelle have the same name.
I don't know to tell you.
Either way, it's very stupid, and I'm excited to figure out where it goes.
Tony and Liz make it back to the manor. They pretty much walk in the front door. Something about the staff being gone post serial killing, which, understandable.
No security system. Got it. Active crime scene. Just wander in.
They head directly to the secret werewolf room where Tony suggests it's where Robert learned what kind of killer he wanted to be. A werewolf? He learned how to be a werewolf?
Welcome to the werewolf training room, where we will learn all the latest techniques in werewolf murder. I mean, werewolves committing murder, not murdering werewolves, to be clear.
So they go through all the stuff. They find a few other books that were given to Pembroke by Annabelle, but nothing distinct until Liz comes across a false book. She opens it up, and inside are a sheaf of old letters.
And a silver bullet. No. Oh.
They look through, and they realize they're love letters from Annabelle, spanning from 20 years ago to about 9 years ago. The one from 9 years ago remarks upon her being in the murdered doctor's care and how much it will hurt to let Pembroke and her son go. She asks him to take care of their son as her dying wish. It's the only thing she asks, Sam.
Yeah, well, too bad, lady.
Tony skims through the letters and summarizes that they couldn't be together not because of love, but because of class differences. It looks like Annabelle's husband was a shopkeeper, and he estimates the child to be, I don't know if he means the child from the letters or the child currently is 9 to 13. I don't know how he estimates it.
So
through the letters, I guess.
Okay, so either the child is 13 years old now, which blows a hole in my Renee Luke theory, or he was 13 when the letters were written, and now he's like 20-ish, which supports my Renee Luke theory.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going for number 2.
It was unclear in the text, or I just didn't understand what I was reading.
I mean, to be fair, this text is, obfuscated.
They feel like they found somehow any clue that could possibly be in this entire house, so they order a taxi, walking back out to the main road. Liz feels like they're being watched, and the scene cuts to the werewolf. They don't bother to
look anywhere else?
No, they don't go to any other part of the whole house.
Murder room with the trophies.
No, just the library, Sam. Game over, they're going home.
So they have this whole mansion to themselves where they think this family of murderers live. They're like, we'll look in one place and nowhere else.
Yes. They didn't find enough clue. They found what they came for. They left. That's it, Sam.
Oh, these people are the worst. I'm so mad. I'm shaking.
So like I said, as they're walking back to the main road, Liz thinks she's being watched. And then we cut to the werewolf inside his head, watching the two vulnerable humans. He desires to rip and tear and taste them, but he decides it's not time. He wants to wait for the full moon when he's at full power, and he lopes off.
Is this almost over?
He lopes off on all fours towards the house, following their path to the secret room where he, like Liz, pulls the false book from the wall, and it makes it very clear it's paralleling Liz's movements, and it makes it sound like the werewolf knows that Liz
tracking her movements like a bloodhound.
It's very weird.
Which, if he's just a human pretending to be a werewolf, will make the ending nonsense.
It's my favorite part. And he pulls the false book from the wall and looks at the packet of letters before howling balefully into the night. Oh.
Okay, I still... Okay, fine. I'm sorry. I'm just I just need to know what stupid thing is going to happen.
You'll find out very shortly.
Good.
Wrap it up
right,
here.
I'm just so sick of the two Bumble twins not getting anything done.
So the next day, Liz fills Luke in all her adventures, and he is very concerned that she's putting herself in danger, and he asks a lot of questions about the Annabelle connection and tells her he just couldn't stand it if she was the next victim. He wouldn't be able to live, dramatically, he says.
Oh, the girl I've known for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yes, and this is where I'm very much hoping that Anne and Annabelle are separate people and both obsessed with werewolves, and Luke is unrelated to absolutely everything. That would be so
very
good.
Funny. That'd be very funny.
Meanwhile, Jessica is whining to Portia about how she feels like her visit to Pembroke, that when she visited Lord Pembroke, that Lady Pembroke was very standoffish. You might remember at one point that Elizabeth pretended to be Jessica and she got into it with Lady Pembroke, and now Lady Pembroke doesn't like Jessica because she thinks that Jessica was Elizabeth. Anyway.
Sure. What? Okay. Sure. Okay.
Doesn't matter. Lady Pembroke doesn't like Jessica.
Okay. That's all you had to say.
Portia comes up with this plan to have her dad basically pave the way because apparently Lady Pembroke is a big fan of her father. So she's gonna try and get Jessica in. So the dad agrees to the plan. Lady Pembroke is practically swooning, even though she's not taking visitors because, her husband is about to die in the hospital. These kids are the worst. Going to try and question
die,
her.
Or is he recovering? That's my question.
He's kind of he's in ICU essentially.
Okay.
He's doing better, but he's he could go either way.
This is not the time for a celebrity visit.
Yeah, crazy. And it's even worse because the dad shows up and is she's oh my God, it's this actor that I love. And he's yeah, I'm taking money for this new project that I'm in. You're one of our biggest benefactors.
Hitting her up?
Curious if you could, promise a sum of money towards this project I'm working on. I was
my husband is dying. Why are you trying to solicit me right now?
The worst. She's totally into it too. Lady P doesn't care.
Wow, all these people suck.
So after this brief visit, Jessica corners this poor woman and tells her she knows about Annabelle thanks to her husband, and Lady Pembroke has a big old grudge against. She immediately starts talking, as they all do.
Sure.
And she's not go away, 16-year-old child. Not talking about my affairs with you.
Let me tell you everything about my business.
No, Lady Pembroke, like I said, huge grudge against Annabelle, as one would assume. She hates that Annabelle always wanted more from her husband and him. He was constantly throwing his money away on that urchin, she calls the son.
Illegitimate child, yes.
Yes. Even using their personal physician, Dr. Neville, and giving away their nanny to them, taking away from Robert to give to this other son. This obviously confirms all of Jessica's thoughts that all the Annabelle stuff is connected. And then Lady Pembroke goes on to say that Annabelle's husband didn't know about any of it. He was just a patsy and they were pretending the son was his. And that the money that she was receiving from Pembroke, she was pretending was from a pension from the Journal where she had been a writer. The Journal is the newspaper.
The Journal, like Luke.
Yeah. So Lady Pembroke said she had finally had enough and she cut Pembroke off because all of it was her money anyways. It wasn't Lord Pembroke's, and she refused to let him give it to her. And when Annabelle died, she made Pembroke swear to never help the other son again. And I guess Lord Pembroke has $0 of his own dollars because he totally was okay, I guess I just won't help my other son.
Man. I get being mad at your husband for screwing around, legitimate. The answer isn't to punish the innocent child. The answer is to divorce your husband and let him handle it.
Not when you're in rich society, apparently.
Apparently. They live such different lives than us, Danielle.
I know. So Jessica's just about to ask who this other child is, obviously, when Lady Pembroke says, "Besides, I knew that boy was no good. I just knew from his name. Lucas is an evil name."
What? Okay, is it?
I don't know.
It doesn't sound evil. I mean, what do I know?
I mean, it's a pretty common name.
Yeah. I feel like Luke is a very common name for heroes. Luke Skywalker, right? That was a guy who was a hero.
Yep. And then I wrote, "Oh no, Luke Shepard, LOL, is Annabelle's son."
Yeah, I got that.
And then Jessica is
Does not Luke, put together.
No, Luke, that's what Jessica's like, "Oh no, Luke's Annabelle's son. And Luke must be the killer." And I was like, what? That's a jump in logic.
Maybe, but also, what? I know I said the exact same thing. That's because I'm speculating about a fictional novel I know is ridiculous.
Why would you think just because he's Annabelle's son that he also must be the killer? That's not a tie-in. There's no
he wants
proof
revenge
to that. We have not established the motive of this werewolf.
Werewolves don't need motive, Danielle. They just like to kill.
That's true. They're serial killers at heart, apparently, according to Luke.
That can smell silver bullets.
Luke, who's protecting people from werewolves.
That would be
ironic.
No, I think it makes sense, Danielle.
Okay. Jessica jumps up and rushes off to call Liz. Unfortunately, she can't get a hold of her, and Tony tells her she went to Annabelle's old house they found the address of when they were researching. Meanwhile, Luke and Liz are on the way to Annabelle's old property. Luckily, once they arrive into this neighborhood, no one is at home. This house, aside from a homeless man wandering the street outside.
Is Renee's real name Luke? Because that'd be very funny.
And the door is apparently open on this random person's house, so they just walk inside.
Okay, what? Boundaries?
the power is mysteriously out, and Luke goes down to the basement to see if there's a fuse box, while Liz waits upstairs, like on the main floor.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Tony calls his boss Lucy and explains he has a bad feeling about Jessica calling him in such a panic, and they decide to go check out Annabelle's old house as well to meet up with
I guess
them.
everyone's just going to Annabelle's old house for fun.
It's 100% what's about to happen. Liz Liz is a denouement, I guess. Liz decides to go off alone. Heaven help, she wait like 3 seconds for the power. So she heads upstairs to the bedrooms, coming across, and she takes like a candle with her. And she comes across a picture of a woman that looks kind of familiar. And then the room of a teenage boy. And it has newspaper clippings all along the wall. The articles
Is
she
the boy
realizes...
Luke?
Maybe. The articles she realizes as she moves closer with her candle are all related to the Pembrokes and, like clippings over the years. And she wonders if Annabelle's son perhaps lives in the house now.
Oh, does he?
She continues to look through the room, stumbling across a journal on a desk, and she decides to read it because she has no personal boundaries.
I told you, no boundaries.
It says, quote, "I woke up again in a strange place, in the woods outside my father's country home. I don't know how I got there. My clothes were filthy and ripped, and there were drops of blood spattered on my shirt."
Yeah, okay, I get it. Standard werewolf stuff.
A voice breaks through her reading, asking her if she likes his collection. Elizabeth screams and turns. The werewolf crouches in the doorway, eyes red and fangs glistening. Just kidding, it's Luke in a mask.
Yeah, of course. So he's crazy, puts on a werewolf mask because he's a weirdo.
She laughs. She's like, "Oh, take the mask off." And he starts to speak hoarsely at her. He's like, "I can't take it off. Don't you see? It's not a mask, Sam. It's not a mask."
It is a mask.
Oh no, she realizes, looking around the room, Luke is the werewolf of London.
Oh no. Okay, what is he really?
He rambles, as all murderers do.
Always.
About how he felt at the weekend he spent at Pembroke Manor with her, seeing all the things that should have been his, and her stupid sister with Robert, like she was going to be Lady Pembroke one day, when his own mother was denied the privilege. He knew when he was 8 years old and stood by his mother's deathbed that he'd get back at them all one day.
Okay, excellent.
Luke starts to approach her closer and closer, unhearing as Liz reminds him who she is. He's like, "Don't hurt me, I'm Liz, your girlfriend. I'm cheating on my boyfriend with you."
And I'm like, that's not really a strong gaze.
She trembles in terror as he approaches, as she waits for him to set upon her. But hark! A voice from the other side of the room calls out, "Stop right there, Luke. Don't move another inch or I'll end it. I have a silver bullet."
Let me guess. It's Jessica.
No, it's a boy's voice. Man's voice.
Is it Renee?
Maybe.
Saving her again?
Liz looks over, and to her shock, it's the homeless man from outside, gun raised to Luke's heart. It's
Is
Robert!
it homeless Oh, I thought it was Bumpo. I thought it was Bumpo in disguise. I was hoping for Bumpo.
It's Robert in disguise.
I don't care about Robert. I want Bumpo.
And then another young man crashes through the door. It's Renee!
There
for
he
reasons.
is.
I don't know why.
Okay.
Also, Bumpo!
Yes! Bumpo! Forget the other two. Bumpo's my man.
Luke whirls and rushes the men, his madness giving him the strength of 10 men. A fight ensues, the gun being lost in the fray until a shot rings out, and Luke topples backwards. Liz rushes forward, pulling off his mask as the blood seeps through his clothes to see that the madness has left his face. It's just Luke, the boy she loves. "We did it, Elizabeth."
For 3 weeks.
"We did it, Elizabeth," he whispers with a smile. "We killed the werewolf." And then he dies.
Okay. Of course he does. So
therapy for days, Sam.
So my prediction from the very first, where it was like, oh, just some dude who is crazy and thinks they're a werewolf, was absolutely correct.
Pretty much everything you said during this plot was correct. You just had, like, the people all mixed up.
Yeah, but again, that's how I do these books anyway. I get them all mixed up all the time.
I 100% thought it was Luke from the very minute he was introduced, but then there were like 18 million other characters. I was like, well, sure, any of these could be.
Yeah.
If this plot was smarter, it wouldn't be Luke.
Yeah, right? It would have been Renee!
Yes, actually, that would have been the perfect plot. Jessica arrives too late to be of any help, and I assume that the newspaper people do too. We don't know. Anyway, they make it back to the dorms and watch the sunrise outside. Liz apologizes to Jessica for thinking it was Robert, and they make up. Cut scene. Jess is getting ready. It's the next morning, or, later that morning. Jessica's getting ready to rush out for a date with Robert now that he's a free man. She's thrilled that the werewolf's reign of terror is over. I guess screw her sister, because at least she's not going to spend any time with her as she mourns the death of her boyfriend.
She has another boyfriend back home, so she's fine.
She also has
a backup
one in London.
boyfriend.
Yeah, she's got multiple
She's got,
boyfriends.
You got boyfriends stashed over the place. Losing one or two is not a big deal.
Yeah, she's not going to come for her, and I guess Robert doesn't care about his dad either, since they're going on this date. They're made for each other, Sam.
Clearly.
Robert tells her how much he learned masquerading as a homeless man to keep an eye on everything and how different people treat you and, life-changing, blah, 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 etc.
Mm-hmm. Preaching the pauper, got it.
He tells her how he realizes Luke was framing him, though he's not sure it was intentional given his delusions. Also, he apparently went to Bumpo and talked him into monitoring Luke, and apparently Bumpo is the only policeman who wouldn't turn a killer in that's on the run immediately.
Bumpo, no! I loved you!
Bumpo believed him after his father was attacked when Robert was with him. So, that's how Bumpo got involved.
I guess, sure. But you're so close to being perfect.
Well, apparently, Bumpo was on the side of correctness here. Because Robert was not the murderer. Liz reads through Luke's journal and his, follows his descent into madness, which honestly is the best writing of the whole book. And Luke really truly believed that Robert was the werewolf. He had no idea that he was himself.
Yeah, because he had dissociative episodes.
Yep. Now Robert is in a hurry to get to his dad. And he's finally visiting him, I guess. And he rushes to his bedside.
Gotta secure the money, my inheritance.
Pembroke apologizes for screwing it all up and not telling him about his brother or helping Luke out at any real point in his life. And, how different this whole thing could have gone down if only Pembroke had, been a man and actually taken his son in.
Yeah, did the right thing.
Eventually, Liz comes down from her room and meets up with the others. And Renee admits that, oh, by the way, the reason why I was there was because I was bodyguarding.
You'll get there.
Without your knowledge. That's why I was randomly at the train station and randomly in that neighborhood.
Why does Renee feel the need to bodyguard? I guess he saved her from a river once in Paris and got a little
Jessica, but sure.
Really?
Yeah, I think he saved Jessica, but Elizabeth kissed him.
Oh. Well, either way, he saved one of the twins. He got a little nookie, so thought, hey, I can do it again.
This poor Renee, he is stand-up guy, and she's over here with Luke and Todd, I guess? I don't know what Todd's like.
Todd seems like a cool guy. I mean, I gotta say I know nothing about him, so I assume he's probably fine.
I don't know how his plot goes. I don't remember. Anyway, time moves on, and Lucy, this is a week passes, and Lucy and Tony get married, which is crazy because they were at each other's throats this whole time, and yeah, obviously they were into each other, but they've just, I guess, got married within the week.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
They're at
what is this, like a Shakespearean comedy? Everything has to end in weddings?
They're at the wedding. Robert takes over as owner of the news from his dad, who's still recovering. He's doing well. Jessica can't help but needle Liz about how wrong she was about Robert, which seems kind of mean. Let it go, Jessica.
Also, her lover got killed, so that's not great.
And this, of course, makes Liz think of Luke and all the good memories she had of him, which were obviously much more than the bad memories. She decides to keep the good memories from the bad so that she can keep her heart together. She's not going to go to therapy.
No, of course not.
She decides to dance with Renee at the wedding, and then thinks that there's only 1 week left, and then she'll be back home to her real life with her family, and finally with Todd again. I only have 1 week left to cheat.
I only have 1 week left to cheat on Todd. Better make the most of it.
No, it ends with thinking of Todd, and that'll be her home. Home sweet home with Todd. The end.
Boo! No justice for the Wakefield twins. Well, that was something.
It was amazing because that was 1.5 books, and our first 1.5 books only went 45 minutes, but this one was so much longer. Yeah, because the first 1.5 books did nothing. They had no plot. It was all introducing characters no one cared about. Should have done 2 books. God, there was a lot of plot in the last 1.5 books.
Yeah, there was. Look, and the problem was, all that plot was obvious. It was just, how was it going to get there?
That was the fun part.
Exactly. It was obvious what was happening from the second we knew that, oh yeah, Annabelle or whatever. But how do they not put Annabelle and Anne together? That is ridiculous.
I don't know. Jessica goes on and on about how they're not the same person. And also the other part was, I didn't mention it when I got through the timeline, but what's-his-face says 9 to 13 for the children, right? For the child's age. And then Luke says that he was 8 years old when his mom died, and it's been 9 years, which makes him 17, but he has a job at the newspaper, and he's editing for the 16-year-olds? What is happening? How old are these people?
I think he must have entered like some kind of stasis field or like time accelerated for him or whatever. I don't know.
Like, none of it made sense.
Any of it makes sense. It was just an excuse to get the Wakefields to have a little fun in England, a little frolic in the British Isles, while also solving a murder that they didn't really do much to solve, honestly.
And werewolves. Yes.
I mean, there weren't any werewolves, as I predicted. It was all raccoons. Raccoons in trench coats.
So funny.
I don't know. Like, as I said in the first book of this, there's no tension or suspense when you don't care if the characters die.
Yeah, it's not that I cared about that. I just was so curious what was... Like, I thought it was probably Luke. I was just so curious what was going to happen. Like, how were they going to unravel this plot? Because it was just so weird.
I mean, it was like they were trying so hard. Like in a good mystery, you have all the pieces in front of you, and it's just not obvious what the answer is because there's a puzzle and you have to figure it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one, there wasn't much of a puzzle. It was just like a bunch of, here's a red herring, trust us. This is Anne and Annabelle are two different people, believe us. You know, it was trying so hard to hide the truth and was like, I don't really buy it. So the question wasn't who's the murderer. The question was, how is the book going to address all its red herrings in a believable way?
I feel like this book was either genius or the stupidest thing ever because from the get-go, I was like, this is the plot. And it was the plot. But the rest of the book, there was like all this stuff going on. And I was like, I wonder if any of this matters or if it's all just red herrings. And the plot is just that Luke is like the son of like, I thought that very early on was just like the extra son to this fortune.
Sure.
And like, but the rest of the book you're going, but is that what it is? How stupid is this book? Is this book really like the plot I think it is? Or is it genius? Because it's like, I don't know if
So the genius of the book is not that it hides the mystery from you. It's like, how stupid do you think this book is? And like, can we convince you we're smarter than we are?
Yes, that's how I felt. I was like, how smart is this book? Because you kind of think for a few minutes there, like, maybe it is smarter than I... No, it's not. It's all lie.
But you're never sure, so I gotta give her credit for that. You know what? That's a very good way to put it, Danielle.
Like, I questioned the plot a few times.
Well, you know what, Danielle? You've convinced me. Genius book, 10 out of 10. Still hate the Wakefields.
Oh, but they're so good for this podcast, Sam. It's so good.
I do love them for that. Well, if you out there want to write in and tell us who you think the real werewolf is, because clearly Luke is just a red herring, you can do so at bookretorts.com.
That's true. Maybe he was having disassociative episodes and like somebody planted this. Like Robert probably is the murderer and he just planted all of like, yeah, sure.
It's all Renee.
It could be he's following her all over
I'm
the
still
place.
rooting for Renee or Bumpo.
And he just like, they planted the evidence on Luke to be the murderer and like talked him into it.
Convinced him, even though he like would take advantage of this poor mentally unstable person.
Yep. That's my actual plot.
Well, you can write us your actual plot at bookretorts.com.
You can also blue sky us at Book Retorts.
And if you want to help fund our kennel for wayward werewolves...
They get playtime. It's really nice.
It's great. We're very good for them. Also, wait a minute. Did Luke always have the werewolf mask on him at all times so he could slip it on when he had an episode?
Remember she talks about when she gets attacked that it was like there was fur brushing up against her?
So like, was just had like under his desk at the newspaper? Like
in his bag, I assume.
Folded up in a pocket.
And I like that he puts it on and then chases her across a train station. Love that for him.
Love that. Anyway, so if you want to fund our kennel for wayward werewolves, you can do so at patreon.com/bookretorts.
Crazy.
And until next time, I guess don't cheat your boyfriend with a deranged murderer, I guess.
I mean, we're all hoping. I guess that's what you get, man. Like,
yeah, really. Yeah. Poor Todd's been nothing but the best to you. Yeah. Maybe that's just karma, I gotta say. Well, until then, we'll have more Spook Retorts soon. Bye.
Take care, everyone. family caught that possum when you had it in the little carrier and it hissed at all of us?
Probably.
Okay, no? All right. Just my memory.
Honestly, we had so many possum interactions, I cannot tell you all of them.
You showed all of us your little possum.
I don't recall that at all.
Well, all right.
I don't know why.
We had one that lived in our trash can for a hot minute when I was a kid growing up. And if you open the trash can, it was like, you're like, okay, well, have fun in there.
You'd be like, I feel you, bro. I feel the same way.
Enjoy your time in the trash can.
This was a fun little possum diversion.